what is it? Shin Megami Tensei Apocalypse or 4 or some shit like that, right? Shin
Yeah,
Megami Tensei 4
I mean, all Atlas
those shits
stuff
is like
is,
$100, man. Those shits
yeah,
like $100 right now.
yeah. Even a
Buy
lot
'em.
of their PS2 stuff went up when Persona 5 came out, and people started getting more interested.
There we go. Ah.
And I was gonna go up even higher when SMT5 comes out.
All right, sorry about that. I had to start the podcast, but we're live. I just got to fix a couple things camera-wise. Thought I had it prepared.
Got random ass FaceTime.
There we go. Ah. But how you doing, Blandrew?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm just editing this video while I'm on the podcast.
And Blandrew's coming back with a vengeance.
Is this
Yeah.
the same video you've been working on over the last couple months?
Over the year.
Yeah, I just hit 49 minutes on it, so it'll probably be pushing
Damn.
50. So
Are you doing a
That's a long
documentary?
video.
more or less, that's what it is.
For Balan Wonderworld, my guy.
Yeah, I know. I really hope this pays off. I'm gonna be mad.
God damn.
Oh, don't worry, we're gonna promote.
Nah,
We're
I'm
gonna
gonna
promote that
watch
video.
it and hit the like button. But
Yeah.
I don't know if
I appreciate
people
that.
gonna watch it.
Yeah, I mean, my limit to dude. I mean, my limit to videos is like 20 minutes, and that's if it's like an Xbox versus PlayStation graphic comparison video.
Just need something to gas you up for the day.
But Blandrew, you're the last videos you've done. I mean, you're like the Dr. Dre of YouTube. So, you drop once a decade, and it's typically some quality stuff when you come out. So, I'll check it out.
Thanks.
I'll at least get like 13 minutes of it. And,
Yeah. I would appreciate a retweet too. Those mean a lot too.
Yeah.
Help get the word out there.
Only Addict calls me in the middle of a podcast. I don't understand. I don't know if he actually expects me to pick up the phone. I'm not going to pick up the phone. I mean, he could jump into it. I don't really. I'm pretty sure he knows. But welcome to Playing Xbox. What episode are we on? I think I put the wrong number on there.
68.
No, that's the correct number. All right. Playing Xbox episode 68, man. There's a couple things to talk about. Happy to bring on Blandrew, some Nintendo things going on. We got Chris Rice, he's got some PlayStation things going on. Obviously, you got I am your host, the best spot, the Kid Smooth. I always got something going on. We got Ole Man Logan. We got Mr. 10K, Dope as J.
What's good, y'all? What's good?
I do have you guys channel links in the description below. And Blandrew, when your video comes out, we'll do that. Blandrew, are you officially? Because I stay out of the trouble in a Weapon Wheel chat. Are you officially?
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
No, I'm still a part, but I'm taking a little vacation until I get like 3 videos out just to prove a point to Bond because I didn't like what he was saying. So
Proving the point to Bond will give you a headache. I've done things like that. I'm like, this is kind of pointless. It's. I don't think you need to push out 3 videos to make a statement. Just drop the video you're gonna drop. We know what you do. People know who you are. But I do think it would be helpful to have like one video, like maybe not a week, but like every other week. I would just put gameplay. Honestly,
like once a month.
yeah, I'm aiming for once or twice a month, but I don't respect D-rank YouTubers like Bond trying to tell me, how I should be putting YouTube.
Bond should be the last person because Bond doesn't drop content either. Bond drops a video. He averages a video. All right,
he streams mostly.
He streams in his. All right, so the streams Bond doesn't stream on his own. It's usually because of the Weapon Wheel based streams, right? If you stop those, right, Bond would average maybe a video a month to like maybe a video every like 2 months. Bond has fallen off significantly, big
time. And if he does make a video, he's just talking over a JPEG for like 10 minutes.
No, but listen. You know what he's gonna say? He's gonna say, "Listen, I'm on vacation. I'm always at the bar.
Virgin Islands, Miami. I got money. I got bitches. I got a life. Typical Bond deflecting as always. Listen, hey, we understand. Like, yo, if you doing all those things, that's great.
I don't have time to sit behind the computer.
Yeah, other people are doing the same things. Like, bro, I was in Miami in March. Just like pictures and videos. Of
Yeah, I
me
remember
everywhere.
that.
I'm not flaunting that shit everywhere. Like, I'm better than everybody because of that. Like, it was a cool trip. I had fun with my boys. That's it. Like, cool. That's it.
But the
I don't
way
know.
Blandrew puts out content, you think he was a full-time nurse or a truck driver? Like,
yeah, but the content's quality though. Like,
my biggest thing is that I'm like so critical of my work, so I start to hate my work the more and more I work on it. So then I'll end up just scrapping it and then going to something else. So I'm trying to get through that. So I'm just sticking with Balan Wonderworld at the moment, and then I'll go from there.
Gotcha. Well, hopefully your video on Balan Wonderworld would convince me to play it. I tried playing it and I just struggled because I just didn't. I was like, what am I doing? And so
I'm just more interested on like the quality and the production of the video, because it don't matter what he says in that video, he's not gonna get me to get that trash game. Like I already I played the demo, that shit was trash. But I love his enthusiasm and his passion for it, that I do want to watch how he puts all the stuff together.
Awesome.
Yeah, there's like this hate campaign going on for the game right now, and I do legitimately enjoy it. So hopefully you guys get to see a different perspective.
Weren't you a part of that hate campaign?
That's the first person I've heard say I like it.
At the beginning, I was a big part of that campaign. I was expecting to come out here and make that type of video, but the more and more I played it, it started to grow on me. The first couple levels are easily the worst levels in that game, but the deeper you get into it, it just gets so much better.
Gotcha.
I have a question for you. What you been playing lately though?
What have I been playing?
We doing the intros?
Get back to me. It's been a while.
Okay. Chris, what you been playing?
I literally just beat Jedi Fallen Order today.
Yeah, I seen you grinding that.
Yeah, I beat it. It was cool. I overall I enjoyed it. There's definitely some issues I had with the game. I was more impressed by and this is Respawn, right? They made Titanfall 2, which has some of the best level designs in a game, right? In a linear game, that had, like Titanfall 2 had one of the better level designs. So I was impressed with some of the level designs in this game. I definitely like the combat, even though it's not as good as something like Sekiro. A lot of people compare this game to like a Souls, and it does have a lot of Souls mechanics. But as far as the combat, to me, it's more comparable to Sekiro than like a Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Even though, I think Sekiro is obviously superior with its combat, but I thought the story was decent. It does have the upgraded PS5 features like the 60 FPS, but even that, right? Even though it runs great or whatever, it still doesn't visually. It still, like, to me, it still doesn't look better than something like The Last of Us 2, like on the PS4 or anything like that. Some of the movement was kind of clunky in the game, and what I was gonna say, and some of the animation was a little off. I ran into a few bugs in the game as well, but overall, I thought it was a pretty solid game. I give it about a 7.5 to an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
And overall, for what I got for it, I only paid like $13 for it. I feel like it was definitely worth it, and I would definitely like to see a sequel be improved. So upon what the indie kind of caught me off guard with, anybody who beat the game like knows like the ending or whatever. Like I wasn't expecting that person to be in the game itself.
Yeah.
And shit like that. So
they spoiled.
I'm not spoiling.
They spoiled that in the advertisements.
They did.
I had no idea.
I
had no idea. Like I really didn't know. I'm just gonna spoil it, man. I had no idea Vader was gonna be in the game at the end.
That's it, yeah.
But other than that, man, at that I'm also playing A Link to the Past as well on the Switch as I get ready for Skyward Sword HD, which comes out
I was
Friday.
I was gonna ask you if you're gonna pick that up.
Yeah, I already got it pre-ordered. It's coming.
Okay.
Is Link to the Past on the online? The Nintendo Switch online? It is? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, it's on the online and whatever. And with that, I want to say, man, these developers, like modern day developers, they need to make the worlds more interactive. Like, and not just, hey, this level looks pretty, and all you do is just walk through it and combat. Like going back and playing some of these older games, like Zelda, and when I was watching a documentary about Metal Gear Solid 3 and shit like that, it's like, it feels like a lot of modern day games like just really cut back a lot of world interactivity, if you get what I mean.
No, I know what you mean.
Yeah, like
in Mass
physics,
Effect, for sure.
yeah, and like interacting with the world and shit like that, and everything like that. It's like developers need to do that way more now, especially since they got more power. Game development has become more efficient and the technology has improved. Like there's games that are like 10, 20, 30 years old that are doing things mechanically that modern day games haven't caught up to, which is fucking crazy to me. But
Yeah,
yeah.
it's insane. Oh yeah, oh man, what you been playing, bro? What you been playing?
I'm still on my Forza Horizon 4 grind because there is a ridiculous ton of stuff to do that because
Too much content.
I've been gearing up for Forza Horizon 5,
Yeah.
and so I've been just nonstop playing Forza Horizon 4. I am at the tail end of Metro Exodus. I think I'm on the last level, so I'm kind of going through that.
And you've been
And
streaming
then-
that too, right?
Yeah, been streaming through that, dude. Love the Series X upgrade. Like that game is just phenomenally, like I don't know, beautiful. Like it just blows me away with that free upgrade. And then I've been kind of nitpicking my way through Yakuza 0 too, and kind of working through that a little slowly here and there on my free time.
Are you just starting the Yakuza? The Yakuza game?
I've been like. It's been my game that I've been on and off of for a little bit. I have, I think, last I looked at it, I had, I want to say 12 or 13 hours into it so far. So I don't necessarily know how far I am, but it's like, it's my game that I just like randomly like will go to from time to time and like play an hour or so here or there. And
Yeah.
been enjoying that one for sure too. So that's my rotation right now.
So, dope. What have you been playing?
I recently picked up Red Dead 2 on PC. I've been playing that. That game's been very amazing to play. Like I was saying before, like we start the podcast with Chris, like that game has so much going on within the background with wildlife and different like random occurrences that happen. It's pretty crazy. So I've been enjoying my time playing that. Picked up a lot of games during the Steam Summer Sale. I picked up Trails of Cold Steel 1. So I'm gonna get to that once I finish playing Red Dead. I was also started playing some more Final Fantasy 7 remakes. So I think my plan right now is to go between Red Dead and Final Fantasy 7 remake and balance my time between those two games because I'm cutting back from the multiplayer games. I noticed that I've been playing a lot of Apex, a lot of Call of Duty, but I haven't put any time towards actually beating some of the games that I own. So that's my goal. Yeah, that's my goal right now, is just to beat a lot of the single player games I have right now. I also picked up Tokyo Xanadu on PS5 because it was on sale.
Oh yeah, I got that too on sale last year. I still haven't played it.
I didn't know Tokyo Xanadu, Trails of Cold Steel, and Final Fantasy 7 would be your type of games. I'm actually surprised to hear those.
I'm actually like starting to really like dive into JRPGs, so like that's my thing. I'm getting kind of bored of like the Western RPGs right now, which is why like I kind of put Horizon on the back burner because that's all I've been playing the past year and a half is nothing but Western RPGs. But Red Dead has pulled me in so much that I'm like actually like interested in beating that game.
Okay.
Well, Red Dead's not really
I don't know what the hell.
an RPG.
Yeah.
Even though like I don't know, it's weird because like a game like Red Dead isn't classified as an RPG, even though it has a lot of RPG mechanics. It has like a lot of level up and upgrading mechanics. So I don't know.
I think I've been playing like I actually technically haven't because last week. When did I beat Scarlet Nexus? Did we have a podcast since I
think that was last week.
Yeah. I ain't been playing shit then. I mean, and when I say I ain't been playing shit, I haven't really been playing anything with substance to actually like get through. Like it's like I did Scarlet Nexus. I was like, all right, I'm gonna take myself a break before I do this to do Kasani's story. So I've been dabbling around back in like I think NBA Live. I've been playing. I've dabbled. What game did I freaking the Watch Dogs? But
oh yeah, you beat the expansion.
Oh
no, I
what's
didn't
it called? Like Bloodlines or something like that.
It's good. It's good, but the save is fucked up. And Watch Dogs reached out to me to ask me where my last pickup. But the thing is, it's like, yo, I played the game. It's unfortunate. I have like probably like 8 hours in an expansion. But I got nothing to show for it because I keep going. Every time I turn off the game or switch a game, it brings me back when I boot the game up to like the first side quest. and that's like the right after the prologue, and I'm like, yo, I can't keep doing this. Otherwise, I enjoyed playing it. Like but the thing is like I feel like in order for me to like play it and complete it, I have to play through a single playthrough. And hopefully nothing happens, nothing crashes and whatnot. But I don't know how long the expansion is to kind of want to do that. I don't want to do that. Like I gotta be dumb hyped for a game to sit there and play through a whole play session throughout the entire night. I think the last time I did that shit, well, High Busters don't count because it's like only like 3 hours. The last time I did that was Halo 5 Guardians. The night it came out, and then I played it till I think 9 a.m. Beat the campaign, then took a nap and then played multiplayer.
But how long is that expansion though?
I don't know. I didn't know like research.
It couldn't be more than like 5 hours.
But the thing is with Watch Dogs, you get the it's not just like the main line. You get a bunch of side quests that they throw onto. So the way I was going to approach it was, I was like, all right, I see the main quest. Let me tackle all the side quests. What they call them is you get the resistance. Let me tackle all their missions so that once all said and done, all I got left is just the main quest. So that's what I was doing. I did the primary, like the startup to me. You get obviously some primary missions. You get the prologue out of the way. You get the first primary mission out of the way, and then when the area opens up and you get the resistance missions, I started knocking them down, literally one at a time, just doing their missions. All right, done with this person's line. Let me do this person's quest line. And then when I got tired to take a break, turned it off, went back, and then all of them popped up again. All the clothes that I bought. I had different outfits for 8 and everything, all gone back to the dingy ass shit they start you off with. And I was like, you know what, fuck it.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Is that only affecting you, or is that like a wide thing?
I'm not even sure. Like, because I don't know. Honestly, I don't know a lot of people that's playing Watch Dogs, personally. But I don't know. I don't know if it's only an Xbox thing, because this game is like sometimes it wants to support quick resume, and sometimes it don't. And I like the only time it supported quick resume is when I wasn't playing another game. So meaning that it was the only game in my rotation. So if I turn the Xbox off and that's the last game I'm playing, when I turn it back on, yeah, I could continue from where I left off and whatnot. But if I boot up another game, every game kicks it out of quick resume.
Yeah.
That's another thing, Smooth. I'm actually surprised to hear you're playing Scarlet Nexus. With as much as you trash Platinum Games and say their games is trash, this is literally a Platinum Games type of game under a different title.
Yeah. Well, it's a good thing it's not by Platinum. Fuck them. But like, I have a good relationship with Bandai.
Because they support Xbox a lot. Yeah.
No. This is before even like Xbox came into the equation. It's like during like my trips to like PAX and E3. It was one of the relationships I was able to hold on to. But the thing was, I had a relationship with Bandai. I just was never interested in any of Bandai's games, like anything that they publish, like what they do, like the Dragon Balls and
Dragon Ball, Naruto,
Dragon Balls,
yeah,
the Dark Souls.
Yeah,
Tales.
I think the only game that really caught my attention from them was a couple years ago, when Code Vein was coming out, and when I first got to play that demo, I was like, I think I can mess with this, and this was coming off the heels of me beating Bloodborne, so it was fresh, and it was like, all right. I went from Bloodborne to playing that. It's like, all right, can't wait till this can come out. By the time the game came out, I didn't really like it. Was like, all right, what is? I bought it. I didn't beat it. I still have it. And then I was like, you know what? Maybe these just isn't my type of thing. So when Scarlet Nexus was like, I was like, it looks interesting. I want to try it. It doesn't seem like it's a Dark Souls-esque game. It doesn't seem like it's a turn-based RPG thing. Let me see if I can rock with it. And then when the demo came out, and I'm like, oh, I can do this. I did the Yuhito story, and then I did Kasani's demo part, and I was like, you know what? I think I can actually get through a game like this. So when the game came out, I played it nonstop, finished one storyline, and I was like, okay, I enjoyed myself. This is like the first game like this that I've actually like just sat there, played through, unbothered, untethered, like didn't drop it, and just played through it, and I'm actually looking forward to playing again.
That's good. I like to see this because like, I think Xbox fanboys have probably been the most closed-minded over the past generation when it pertains to Japanese games and calling everything Jap crap, and they don't want to play it. So
in general, not all of them. In general,
in general, yeah, not even just picking the couple, just
I know
in general.
some of y'all are gonna be like, "Well, nah, I played this game," but it's like, if
Yeah,
you're going by numbers,
it's a
Andrew's
good.
correct.
Yeah, you guys
Yes,
you guys
so-
are correct in saying that.
I'm starting to see like a lot more demand for games like Persona, hype for Octopath, Scarlet Nexus, and things like that coming to the Xbox. So hopefully that turns into something more in the future.
Yeah. Well, Persona, they just announced their anniversary event that they're doing they announced 7 new projects. I think starting in September, all the way up until next year, like August or September again. So
Yeah.
one of those projects could possibly be Persona 5 coming to like PC, Xbox, and Switch and shit like that. So we'll
That
see.
would be nice.
I'm waiting for that announcement, but I mean, I can tell you this, like, you know what I mean, they can announce, you know, Persona 5, Persona going into Game Pass like tomorrow, and, you know, I'll talk about it, but there's no way I'm playing that game.
No, he's not playing that
just
game.
not
That game
doing
is like that, especially if it's Royal. You're looking at a minimum, just minimum, 120 hours. The game has a lot of dialogues and it's turn-based.
Yeah. I ain't got
And then
time
It's
for that.
amazing.
to
Though.
get
I love it. It's a 10 out of 10. It's amazing.
I ain't got time for it. But what I did do though, right? You know, because I had to, you know, I finally got my my Kid Smooth Planet Xbox controller.
Nice.
Matches the Xbox Series X and it also matches these headphones. I didn't realize it, but it does. It matches perfectly. So
Got the color scheme.
the color scheme is good. I also got, you know, did the off color one as well, just the reverse. So, but yeah, they're pretty dope, man. I'm glad they brought Xbox Design Labs back, because I never made one from when they first had it, but now that they got it back, I was like, you know, I'm gonna, you know, I'd rather make a controller than going out and buying these controllers, even though these Space Jam controllers that they got look kind of dope. Nick.
And you buy those, or are they just sending them to influencers?
What up,
No,
y'all?
what the Space Jams you can buy. You can buy.
Okay.
Yeah. What's
What's
up, Nick?
good, everybody? What's good? What's good, man? What's up, Chris? What's up, OLED Blanger? Yeah,
What up?
Came through.
How's it going, man?
Man, dope. Old man, I had to pull out my luggage, the backpack. You know, he going kind of hard. You know.
Stop. Oh man, yo, I'm not gonna lie. Oh man is nice at Call of Duty.
Yo, that
Oh yeah,
dude
okay,
dropped
yeah.
like
I'll
man,
rock
it's
with
nice.
Old Man any day.
and 9.
You're talking about
It
that?
pays, man.
Oh man is nice.
We do
Oh,
need
hold
to
on,
get
you
on
talking about
that
Old Man?
again
I
because
thought-
man,
okay, I
that was
thought you was
some
talking
fun
about
stuff. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, me and Oh man was backpacking, bro.
I thought you were talking
That
about
one
me.
match I had like 103 kills. Oh,
I was
my
like,
God.
yo, what the hell? Like you over here playing on hijack. He dropped a 60 bomb. Like, so I had a higher score, but he had like 60 kills. I'm over here like, whoa, old man's like that.
Yeah,
And
Was
then
it
he was like
objective?
that.
it's
Oh
like
yeah, I was playing the objective.
Yeah, I think old man play a lot of hard point. So I
yeah,
just
that's-
got used to
that's
it.
my
Hardpoint's the way
game.
to go.
I'm getting used to it now though, because I never
That-
played that control. Like control is actually, now that I learned control, is actually good. But yeah, I like those two now.
Yeah, I like it because I just it helps the flow of maps and stuff go a lot better than just
Yeah.
people like just constant like TDM where people are just camping all over. I like to run around all over the place. So hardpoint gives me that ability because you know people got to move from point to point.
Yeah, rotate spawns and
Yeah,
everything.
rotate spawns. Yeah, I hate getting spawn trapped in like TDM and stuff like that.
Question though, old man, what you
Yeah.
think about the 6v6? It's a whole totally different rotation of maps that
I
I've
haven't
never
even-
seen.
I haven't even tried that mode.
Oh man, you got to try that, bro.
I just been
Like-
I literally click off every time they update the playlist. I click off of everything and just stick to hardpoint.
Yeah.
I should probably try something else a little bit.
Well, they got hardpoint on there. It's just
But, yeah, I'm just
the
saying,
maps are smaller and
Yeah.
it's like different maps, like totally different. I was like, dang, I ain't never played these maps, but pretty good. That's what I've been playing lately, though. I've been trying to get the battle pass up.
Yeah, I think I'm at like 80 on the battle pass.
Yeah.
That's
Call
what's the topic.
life, man.
All right, the first topic is an Xbox DualSense controller. Could it be possibly in the works? And I see people, running with this idea that, the DualSense is great, Xbox is about to copy it, and everybody's saying Xbox is copying them now, or they're going to copy them because of it, because Phil Spencer praised the DualSense, and this is not the first time he's done it since the PlayStation 5 has come out. It's just, I guess, the first time people are recognizing it. But for those who primarily play on Xbox like me, I'll answer like last, would you like for the Xbox to incorporate some sort of haptic feedback, like how the DualSense has it?
Of course, you're gonna say no because you've been downplaying it because it's not an Xbox feature.
Not.
I mean,
Go ahead.
Nah, I mean the whole thing was like, first of all, when people say, "Oh, this company copy," all the companies, they all copy each other, right? Nintendo has done things where Sony has copied and Microsoft has copied. Sony has done things where Nintendo has copied. It is always gonna be like that. When people try to use that, like that's always like fanboy arguments or fanboy points when people try to bring that up. So if there's something that's innovative and that a lot of people are enjoying and Xbox sees that, then they can be like, hey, let's implement it in our controller. We could possibly make it better, or it can be, or whatever. So I don't see anything wrong with it. I would imagine like Xbox, are definitely looking into it. I mean, they're always looking into shit that PlayStation's doing and vice versa. PlayStation is going to be looking, even though PlayStation is the market leader, I'm sure they're looking at some of the things that Xbox is doing and taking notes as well. So, but I enjoy the DualSense a lot. It's like definitely now one of my favorite controllers of all times. But I definitely feel that not every implementation of the DualSense have been the best. It's mainly been coming from the first party studios. And for example, like but there's been some third parties that have been doing it great. Like Scarlet Nexus did a pretty good job. I'm hearing Plague's Tale Innocence. Mm-hmm. I'm hearing they've done a phenomenal job with the DualSense. But then I played Jedi Fallen Order, which that has DualSense features, but it's very basic and it's not as good as something like Returnal or Ratchet and Clank or some shit like that.
What's your best experience with the DualSense from a
probably
game?
Probably Astrobot.
Astrobot by far.
Yeah.
Astrobot is by far, like, I want every game to feel just like that. Second, I would say Ratchet and Clank, and then third, Returnal.
Ratchet was very different with the
and Demon Souls is really good too when it comes to like the swinging the weapons and blocking and shit like that. The only thing I wish that Demon Souls had was the footsteps. Because to me, it's like the footsteps, like a lot of people overlook that when it comes to the DualSense. When you feel like all the footsteps and you feel the footsteps of the different surfaces, like sand, metal, or whatever, to me, that brings a whole level of immersion of like controlling the character. And some people may not like it. I mean, Nintendo kind of try to go this route with the HD Rumble, but it's not quite, that technology is not there. So, I mean, I would imagine Xbox will want to do something more with the controllers, because what more can you do than what the DualSense is doing? So, like, I don't really see any issue with it if Xbox decide to, hey, let's get some of these ideas and implement our own and stuff like that. I mean, a lot of people love the Xbox controller, right? To some people, Xbox controller is the best controller. I love the 360 controller. The Xbox One controller was pretty good, even though I didn't like the thumbsticks because of how small they were. But it's just overall improvements and enhancements to a controller. If you don't like it, turn it off.
I mean, personally, like when I play on the PS5, I don't turn off any of like the features. I play the games how they are intended to be played. I didn't see the big deal. It's like with Astrobot, I was like, all right, this is cool. I see what's going on and what they can do from here. The games previously after that, the games that I played that uses it afterwards, which was Ratchet and Clank and Returnal, yeah, they use it, but I feel like it didn't change. I thought when I played on a DualSense, I thought what was going to happen to me was like, all right, I'm going to get used to what these games are doing, and that is going to make it bad when I go back to, like, let's say an Xbox controller and all that commotion's not taking place. But it hasn't made any difference. So to me, it's like, cool, if they add it, cool, but it's not a request that I need. I mean, there's a lot of features on PlayStation that I would like to have on Xbox. The DualSense is not one of them. I don't want them to sacrifice the battery life. I don't want them to sacrifice the design of the controller or any of that jazz to implement this feature. I don't want speakers in my controller. I've never been a fan of speakers or microphones and built into the controller. It's just something that turned me off. And even when I'm playing on PlayStation, I feel like because of that, like I have to like the audio has to get. I feel like I don't have like the audio isn't free. I either have to use my headsets. It's harder to stream because somebody's losing sound unless I have a certain setup. So it's like I'm just not the biggest fan of that technology. I don't think it's bad, but it's not something I actually want. And the
Is there a
Xbox
specific
controller.
feature from the controller? Because like, so you wouldn't want the whole suite of features, but is there anything in particular from the DualSense that you would like a haptic feedback or an adaptive triggers? Like, I think the haptic feedback will feel good.
I
for
know
a
I
lot
don't
of
want the
people, like-
triggers.
Like, listen, Gears of War.
Yeah.
Imagine
just about to
chainsawing
say that.
somebody. Yeah, imagine chainsawing somebody and you actually feel the vibration with the haptic feedback with that chain. I think that would be like cool as
And
hell.
it feels like an actual chainsaw because
Yeah.
that's the thing that people like don't understand. Like when you feel the raindrops for like, for example, like Returnal, like if it is literally raindrops, like these subtle raindrops throughout the whole controller. It's not like one side or anything like that. And that's a lot of things that people they overlook. And for some people who are saying like, oh, I don't want to, you're blowing in the controller and everything like that. First of all, there was only one game that did that, which was Astrobot. You only do it for like 2 or 3 seconds. All the other games that came out after that, they've all just been straight the haptics and the DualSense. And so you're not blowing in a fucking controller for majority
I
of the
think that stuff
games.
is cool. I don't. That's
Yeah,
not
I
a
think
negative in my
it's cool
opinion.
too, but because it's PlayStation, Blanche, and these are Xbox fans. Of course, it's gonna be more. It's gonna be more negative. But for people assuming that you're just gonna be blowing in a controller, it's like no, 99% of the games are not even doing that. So I don't. That's not a good take.
Yeah.
But I mean, some people like it. Some people may not like it. I mean, but for the overall response to the DualSense, majority of the people like in the industry, gamers and shit like that have been really loving it. I've been seeing some people came out and say it's their favorite controller of all time because of it. So I mean, we'll see what they do. But I don't see anything wrong if Xbox decides to, to enhance their rumbles and shit like that by utilizing this technology.
I could see them doing a redesign pretty soon anyways. Like they did it last generation, like the initial Xbox One controller did not
Yeah.
support Bluetooth.
Yeah.
And then they did a redesign. It supports Bluetooth. They had a 3.5 audio port inside there as well. So like a redesign would be welcome. I don't mind this controller. Like I actually like the fact that they condensed the size of it a bit from the Xbox One controller and it feels better inside my hands. But I think adding like something like a haptic feedback at the very least would be a great feature to have on Xbox, especially for a lot of these experiences that they plan on bringing with a lot of their first party games.
I know a lot of PlayStation and Xbox guys don't really care for it, even a lot of the people that make these games, but after playing shooters on the Wii U, the Wii, and the Switch, I would really like to see gyro controls.
Yeah.
Gyro controls come to the Xbox. I think it just makes shooting actually more accurate and faster, and I just think it makes the overall experience a lot better.
But they would have to make a peripheral accessory for that because you wouldn't be able to do that with a regular controller.
Yeah.
I thought
They'll
they were
have to-
doing. I thought you were saying they were doing a redesign of the Xbox controller, and they were going to add all types of.
No,
Stuff
he's not.
to
No, they didn't say that. He pretty much said that, like, yeah, in the future, when we design another controller, we're gonna be. He pretty much said, like, in the future, if we do it like a redesign or whatever, that we'll look into these DualSense, like the DualSense, what Sony is doing with the DualSense. That's pretty much what he said, right, Smooth?
Yeah. It's like my thing is what I think was probably going to happen is it'll probably be some sort of implementation in the Elite Series 3 controller. So if they when they put out with that, I think that would be the feature. Because the thing is about PlayStation built the PS5 from the ground up to have these features. So a lot of things just natively, work. Xbox shoehorning in later into the generation. I mean, they might get support, but I think it'll be more better suited for like an Elite controller that they do, where it would be like, okay, and then games obviously select games will take advantage of it. in that case, but I'm not sure. Maybe in the future with a console or maybe a mid-gen refresh or something, if they do that, it'll then you'll see more of a native controller where it's like a standard controller that has the features. But we'll see. We'll see.
Because
that's what I was gonna say that too.
No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say what Smooth said. I was gonna say the Elite, the third Elite, the third series, they probably implement something like that because it's premium, and then go from there.
The thing with, they probably are gonna do that, but the thing with that, because since the Elite is a premium controller, that's more for like a niche market, because not everybody's gonna pay $200 to $300 for a controller. So then you're looking at a market on Xbox that's extremely niche when it comes to this controller, and then you're gonna have to have devs go out of their way to program features for this specific Elite controller when majority of the people are not gonna have
5% of the user base.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Sony charging niggas just for them features on the PS5. So, I mean, I was just about. But yeah, no, I think that's their way to get. No, I think that's just going to be their way to just start getting into it, and like Smooth said, and then the next revision or mid-gen refresh, maybe then they start, putting it into the, the main line or whatever. Make more sense.
So last week we talked a little bit about this. There with the whole. Apparently, I didn't intend for this stupid tweet to go anywhere. It was just one of those random things where I was like, who I'm gonna get mad, but it far reached more than it should. So I tweeted about that two of the biggest PlayStation 5 releases this year are old games, with Ghost of Tsushima's director's cut and Death Stranding director's cut. So
you was asking for it, man.
Yeah, so people came at me left and right about this, like, return on Ratchet and Clank. You ain't got no games, y'all. All y'all got is old games. So like, I really literally just stopped reading some of the replies, because, like I said, it was one of the last things I tweeted. I woke up in the morning. That's when I see majority of the replies. But apparently, people took issue with it. Which my thing is, this is my thing with it. I don't understand why anybody has the right or the energy to take any issue with that, for the energy and shots people took at me for every time I've highlighted FPS boosts and games that supported 120 frames per second exclusively on Xbox. The first thing people said, old games. So it's like, okay, y'all got the energy to talk this shit about old games when, like, when I'm bigging them up, but now look at this. You guys want to now, a few months later, you're trying to convince others why they should pay more for some old games. So I don't understand where this energy is coming from. Like, I was like,
don't expose them. Don't expose
you
them.
do. You understand where the energy comes from.
Okay, so this is the issue with that tweet, because you didn't say that, these are the only games that PlayStation 5 has coming this year or anything like that, right? You said these are the two biggest games.
Yeah.
But I know your fanboy tendencies and agendas, Smooth, so I know how you're trying to make it seem like, because I know, like, everybody got on to me when I highlighted old enhanced games, and now everybody's going crazy over what? These old enhanced games. But the difference is, because you're not the only one, because I tweeted about this earlier, but you didn't say this, but I've seen a lot of people say something similar along these lines of what you're saying, but they added more to it when they were talking about, PlayStation, the second half to the, or PlayStation has a sparse lineup or sparse year or sparse whatever this holiday. And it's like, and y'all want to highlight these old, these pretty much definitive editions, right? Because that's what they are. They're definitive editions of these games.
They're director's cuts.
But the thing is, it's like, you can't really say that about like that. That's the only thing they're offering, because from the beginning of this generation, like the PS5, the PS5 is the one that's been coming out with the most new content and the most new next generation games, and it's been they had a great launch with like Demon Souls, Miles Morales, and stuff like that, right? And then throughout the year, they've been dropping stuff. Like they dropped Destruction All-Star, even though I don't like it, and it's complete flop. I know people gonna make fun of that game, but you got to count it as a release. Yep. Then they dropped Ratchet and Clank. Then they dropped Returnal. They were about to drop Deathloop, but that got pushed back. You know what I mean? Then we still got Deathloop. We still got Kenna. We still got potentially Horizon Zero Dawn. If that hopefully doesn't get pushed back to next year and stuff like that. So even though, like me, I am excited to go back to Ghost of Tsushima, but I'm not excited to go back to Ghost of Tsushima because I want to replay the main game again. I'm excited to go back to it because it's new content. Yep. They're literally saying they're adding a whole new island and one of the testers, I don't know if it's true or not, it could be exaggerated. Apparently there's one of the tester leaked that the island is somewhere between 15 to 20 hours to complete. You know what I mean? Death Stranding deserves another chance because a lot of people slept on that game. A lot of people really trashed that game saying, oh, it's a walking simulator and all that stuff. So Kojima, he's adding a bunch of new stuff. So even with these quote unquote old games, you're still getting a lot of substantial new content that's coming with these games. And these aren't the only things that PlayStation are offering this year. So I think that's why people came out smooth or whatever. So
Can I ask you a question, Chris?
Yeah.
Okay. You remember when Jim Ryan said, "We believe in generations," and then come to find out a lot of these games are cross-gen titles, and then people defended that, right?
But he never said every game is going to be next gen. No. Or that there wouldn't be cross-gen.
But let me frame the context. He said that right after Phil Spencer said that they're going to keep supporting the Xbox One generation. Did he not?
And what did he say in that same paragraph? If you're gonna add context, add the entire context of that entire
all right,
statement.
so add the entire context.
He literally said, but we believe in generations, but we also going to support the PS4 for many years to come.
But how did people take that? They thought they were going to get nothing but generational exclusives for a hot minute, right?
It's the same way when Phil Spencer will say a quote, and then people take it out of context. Yeah. And people will say like, "Oh, Xbox is going to have no games until 2022, and Xbox is going to." Did he really mean that? No, but people took that out of context.
A lot of Gears 5 got high busters. People were shitting on that. But then you have these director's cuts and everything like that, which I don't mind. I'm going to get the Ghost of Tsushima expansion. I'm going to pay the extra $10 for the director's cut of Death Stranding because now it's actually finally worth playing on console. So, hey, I'm going to do it. But we got to keep it consistent because when these games are getting updated on the Xbox, you can't say, oh, we don't play old games. We want to play new games. It's understandable for the Xbox side because it's like, hey, you got to bring out the first party output. They haven't been doing it to the same degree as PlayStation. But you still got to keep the same energy, no matter what.
So, who you talking about keeping the same energy?
I'm talking about just the people in general in the community.
Okay, so the fanboys that are saying that, right? Because to me, I always say I don't have a problem with old games.
There's people that are not even fanboys that run with that narrative, though.
Right. No, I understand that. To me, I've always said when it comes to new consoles, my main priority for that new console is to buy the console is for the new experiences and the new games. But if the cherry on top is getting backwards compatibility with enhancements. I always said that, and I always praised the Xbox backwards compatibility because how they built the One X. Therefore, that's why they have such an advantage right now because of the One X or whatever. I'm playing an old game right now. I'm playing a 1980s game. I just played a remastered of a 2000. Matter of fact, this Friday, Skyward Sword HD comes out. That's an old game, and I'm paying full price for that. But to me, like that doesn't bother me. So I don't know about the other people, right? Though, but how I always saw it when it came to like Xbox and like this whole old game situations and everything like that. This is how I always seen it. If we're entering a new generation of consoles, I expect at least from the beginning at launch to have some type of new experience or new next gen experience built for that consoles to show me, hey, these are the type of things I can expect further into the life cycle. Xbox, when it comes to that, Yeah, they had a lot of things that can hold people over, like Game Pass, right? It has a whole bunch of games, a whole bunch of quality games, free upgrades, smart delivery, and all these other features and stuff like that. But it's like there's a lot of free upgrades that I have right now on the PlayStation 5 that I haven't really gone back to, even if the upgrade is free or whatever. So I don't know how that would have affected me if I would have got an Xbox, like how many of these games I would have came back and revisit. So to me, it's like, what new things do you have? And the only new thing that they had at that time was, I think it was what was that game called where you fly around and shit?
Falconer.
Yeah, the Indian, yeah, the Falconeer, which that doesn't appeal to me. Of course, they had stuff like Gears Tactics probably would have appealed to me, but not a lot of, and then they had the Gears DLC. But as far as like when you compare that to like PlayStation, they had Miles Morales, they had like all these new games with these new features and stuff like that. I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm just rambling. To be honest with you, I'm just rambling. But all I'm saying is, for me, I never bash old games. I never bash enhancements of old games. I never say anybody who played these old games is why are you not playing anything new or anything like that? Never have. What I'm saying when it comes to new consoles and new generation, I want new experiences alongside enhancements for old classics or enhancements for games that are in my digital library that I can upgrade, whether it's free or whether I gotta pay for it.
Okay. My thing is that
Say blame you. No, I'm joking.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of how I don't know, old games is handled from both PlayStation and Nintendo, I think both are done. I don't know if they're both handled horribly or just Xbox just has the best way of handling upgrades to any degree. I guess the Xbox, equivalent to what you would get from a Ghost of Tsushima director's cut, it was high busters because you got you got content that wasn't.
You got new content, yeah. You got new extra content, yeah.
So okay, I'll back off the whole Ghost of Tsushima thing, but the come up with it is just kind of funny because we consider what it's not a big deal to me because I'm not really interested in either of these options anyway. But the fact you have a PlayStation 5 and to tap into the features that takes the advantage of the PS5 after you get over the frame rate update, but to tap in to the features that specifically take advantage of the PS5 that you already bought, you gotta fork out some cash regardless if you own the game or not. I think that's horrible. The fact that Nintendo purposely stopped making their consoles backwards compatible so they can resell you these games each and every generation.
I don't think Nintendo made it purposefully backwards compatible. I mean, the Wii U disc is about the size of the Nintendo Switch itself, so realistically, that just wasn't going to happen.
But
maybe digitally,
digitally they adopted digital download. So since they went digital, how long Nintendo's been with this digital store? Since the Wii?
Since the Wii. Since the Wii.
So since the Wii, you really should have access to your purchases up until now because there's no excuse from that point. At that point, there's no excuse. Physically, yeah, you're right. There, obviously, no harm, no foul. But digitally, that it's like your purchases live and die with that Nintendo platform. Once that shit dies, your purchases dies, and you only have access to it as long as you still have that thing. And then when a new thing comes up, they revive the fucking store. They'll bring back the classic store so you can rebuy those old games, and then they go ahead and remaster whatever they can remaster. And it's usually the bare minimum. With these,
watch him smooth.
It's the truth. So when I'm looking at PlayStation, how PlayStation do that, it was like, all right, they're gonna throw this in there, they're gonna make a director's cut, they're gonna make a movie out of it. Nintendo,
they're adding things to it, and making it a better experience for the gamer.
So and then when I look at,
I expect the quality of this update to be higher than any of the free updates that it got. For example, like what I was talking about was Jedi Fallen Order. Yeah, Jedi Fallen Order got a free upgrade, right? It has DualSense support. But the DualSense support and it's not as good as any of like the first party. So with Ghost of Tsushima, I expect the DualSense for it to be way better than like let me put it to you like this. I see and understand why Jedi Fallen Order upgrade was free.
Oh man,
it's a great game. Don't get me wrong, but as far as like compared to other games like that I've seen utilize this feature, it's not as but that's gonna be like that throughout the whole generation. I don't expect a lot of third parties to be just as good as what the first party does. But the whole thing with the Switch, I do agree. Is like I don't know why they got rid of the virtual console. Like that's something that they shouldn't have gotten rid of. Backwards compatibility, I can understand that because the Switch hardware is completely different. It's no longer disc; it's little cards. Yeah. So you're not gonna. So how would it be backwards compatible with the Wii U? It'll literally be impossible for that type of console unless they make it disc with the dock. But that would be way more expensive. And that would defeat the purpose because you can't take it anywhere. So I understand why the Switch is not backwards compatible. Mm-hmm. But I don't understand why they just completely got rid of the virtual consoles. They closed a lot of the eShops and stuff like that. And they don't move these digital games that they had on the Wii U. And like Blanju, if the Switch had Wind Waker HD downloadable, I would have bought that shit. I would even pay $60 for it. I don't care. You know, so Nintendo needs to get Nintendo's the worst when it comes to that. But
you know, the one remake I'm getting from Nintendo this holiday season is that Diamond and Pearl remake. That's about to be some heat. That's what I'm about to get.
So I look at these scenarios and then I look at how Xbox handles scenarios like this, and I feel like, I mean, it's like I don't know. I feel a bit, you know, spoiled in a sense. I feel like, you know what? Yeah. I feel like if they can provide this, right, then I think from a platform. See, I don't have any expectations for third party publishers at all. I just don't. So that's why when people come to me and when we got the prices for like Madden and 2K and Call Up, like, why the fuck y'all coming to me? But like, those aren't first party. I expect them to charge $70 for their shit, and I expect them not to offer a free upgrade the next go around.
Yeah, look at what they're doing with FIFA.
So let me ask you something. Yeah. What's the main thing that's stopping a lot of these Xbox and 360 games from becoming backwards compatible?
Licenses and so it's pretty much licensing, pretty much.
You can't just do it like you used to do it back in the day, where everything just works.
It's not but you're not buying it. It's not that it doesn't work. It's the fact that, all right, so I get what you're saying. Like because you have a lot of 360 games, Landrew. Like so.
Yeah.
So when the way when for them for backwards compatibility, it's not about just making your game work. It's now making that game available again, pretty much to a new storefront.
Yeah.
So like, and the thing is, they may not have rights to sell those games again. I mean, they have whatever rights they have to sell it on a 360 or whatever platform it was originally on, but they probably don't have new rights to sell it again, because right now every game that's backwards compatible right now is available to buy on the Xbox store. Like today, if you don't have a copy of it, you can buy it today as if you were buying it new.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. They can't just make it into a way where you can just play the physical, but there is no digital option, or do they need to have both for it to go through?
That's a good question. That is a good question. I don't know. I'm assuming the way that they have it set up,
it's for both.
It's for both. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It makes sense because, like with the Xbox with the backwards compatibility, like it's mainly just like emulation. It's not like necessarily like a true back, because if it was like really true, like I could take any Xbox game or any 360 game offline and I could just put it in a disc and it will work, whatever. So they have to do like a lot of emulations, definitely licenses if they're gonna bring it back to the storefronts or whatever. So it makes sense why it's a hassle, and that's probably what's giving Sony a lot of troubles.
They have to track down who has the licensing as well, because like some of these games, like they sold off the licensing for a lot of these older titles. Remember, they have to track down who owns it.
A lot of the publishers and developers during the 360 generation aren't around anymore.
Yeah, they're gone.
I completely forgot that the games download to the system once you put the disc in. So I guess, yeah.
Is Conquer Live and Reloaded available?
It is.
Yeah, it's in the I think the rare replay collection.
Can I say one thing while we're like on the topic of like
Wait, no, not
smart
live
delivery
reload.
and backwards compatibility?
Oh, bad
I
fur
think
day.
the one thing that Sony really needs to get together is when they're doing these upgrades for games, they need to figure out how to make the save file situation more streamlined because it's really weird. Like sometimes people can't retrieve their save files, or there's an error with, hey, if they had the PS4 version and the upgrade to the PS5 version, there's an issue with the save files that way. I mean, I've seen a lot of people get screwed over with their save files on PS5, which is pretty odd because like for me it's working. Like I haven't had an issue with that, but I've seen a lot of other people have those kind of issues in terms of retrieving
You gotta
them.
understand, and this is the thing when people laughed at the whole Xbox Live Gold thing, right? And I'll explain why I'm talking about that. But when you go back, when did Cloud say it was
360.
available on PlayStation, PS3 or PS4?
PS4, I believe, because
Alright.
PS3 you can't take your save file from PS3 to PS4.
All right. So the PS4, when they had their clouds, if you got to think about, a lot of the games was built around their implementation of how they pretty much do their saves. It's built around that. So that's why in some cases with these games, you get these upgrades. They're literally asking you to take your PS4 up, put your game in your PS4, upload that save, and then download it again on your PS5 and download. It's this system. It's just this era that I don't want to say, because the Sony, I mean, they're smart, but for layman's term, maybe they just forgot that loophole. Like, oh, we forgot how to kind of make this more of a seamless transition. It is exactly why it took some time to get. That's why the dropping the paywall for free to play games on Xbox had to go into beta, because a lot of games programmed, or all multiplayer games programmed on Xbox Live was programmed with Xbox Live, the pay model in mind. So the game literally is calling for checking, do you have an active Xbox Live account, free to play or not? It's checked. The system is checking if you have an active free to play. So even if Xbox turned off the requirement, the games that were made prior to that were still checking for it. So that's why they had to put it in beta, and they had to tell in games. All right, this game works for it now. All right, this game works for it now. This game, until they got rid of that barrier. Because if they would have just said immediately, oh, free to play games, free, and let everybody go, like everybody, oh, why you gotta go through betas? Because that's exactly what would have happened. They would have tried to play Fortnite and Call of Duty, the games that were trained to call the Xbox Live subscription, and it'll recognize that it's not there, and then it won't work. So they had to communicate that with the developers and publishers so they can get those updated, and that's how they got those through.
The PS3 and the Vita had cloud saves.
Cloud saves, okay.
And cloud and cross saves.
They have cross saves.
Yeah.
For what games?
Yeah,
think
I don't know about that, bro.
All-Stars.
My shit ain't go over.
It would probably be the ones
All-Stars
that
Battle
were.
Royale.
It wasn't a lot of them. It was pretty much the ones where if you bought the Vita version or if you bought the PS3 version, then you get the other version for free.
Between
what I mean?
between those systems
Yeah.
in particular. Okay.
Yeah, because my
Yeah.
Uncharted 3 saves ain't go over.
Yeah, it was the cross purchase ones like Sly Cooper and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then you also got to remember with like the PS5, the reason why it's not as easy to implement these things as, for example, like what Xbox is doing is because the PS5 is a totally different console, like a totally different, unique console than the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 4 Pro. Even the dev kits are completely different. And the Xbox, they did that shit was like the Series X and the One X and the Xbox One. That's all like one SKU. So everything is just all in one. So it's like a lot easier to like carry stuff over with this PS5. That's what's causing a lot of hassle with the PlayStation 5, and it's blowing back on them. You know what I mean? But they wanted to do something completely unique and different with the PlayStation 5. So this is the cost of it.
I think the save situation they can easily fix.
Because,
yeah, I still have my 360, and I launched Sonic Unleashed like when I first got my Series X, and I was like, oh, I don't have my save file on my Xbox Series X. It wasn't uploaded to the cloud. And I just turned on my 360, uploaded it, and I was like, all right, there we go, boom.
The
And that
save
makes sure I
version.
enable it for a lot of my games.
Yeah.
Same thing with my
But
Xbox One. Like,
Ain't
it
they
was
behind the
all automatically.
paywall though? This the cloud saves on.
For PlayStation,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
need
yeah,
Plus.
on PlayStation, yeah, and on.
Why ain't
Nintendo.
nobody talking about that though, Chris? But I just asking.
People do talk about it. What are you talking about? People.
So here's the
that's
thing.
one of the.
It's-
That's one of the
it's-
ammos that gets used against PlayStation.
No,
No, the thing about cloud save is that like it's more convenient, but like what Sony has other things in place that can like easily negate that. Like, hey, like if you still have your PS4, you can just plug in your USB stick in there and just like transfer it that way, which some people did.
Yeah, but I'm
if they don't
talking
have it.
about like people was like the same PlayStation guys. They was so worried about like free to play games on Xbox, but those same people, you can go back and look at their tweets. They don't even. They was like everybody has PS Plus, so we ain't worried
because
about
cloud is not called free to save. If cloud was called free to save and they were charging for it, then yeah, you know what I mean. But I honestly think because PlayStation, they use what servers did they use? They use the Amazon, right? Like they use
yeah, they do.
Yeah, so they gotta pay Amazon and they gotta do all that shit. That's probably why they charge it versus Microsoft. They have their own shit. They have their own servers, their own. So to them, it's like, yeah, like we don't need you to.
You don't want to spend money.
I still think cloud saves should be absolutely free. Yeah, I'm not negating that. Like I'm not defending like, oh no, you should be paying. But when you look at like, for example, like Apple, right? Like I have an iPhone. After I reached a certain limit, for my cloud storage, I have to pay to upgrade for more storage. Yeah. So it's not a standard that cloud saves are completely free across the board.
Yeah, it's not.
But that's on consoles, it is though. Like
no, it's not because the PlayStation and the Switch.
No, Xbox
don't do it.
Xbox has so much.
Xbox is the only one.
Microsoft's in there saying because like. Yeah, I get because even iPhone, I just upgraded my cloud saves for iPhone, but for the most part, at least they give you at least a starting point. That's free because every time I upgraded my iPhone, the fact that I didn't have to go through that whole process, plug my phone into the Verizon cord, they transfer all your data for you. Now I can just log in, boom, everything's right there. You get used to that, but you're right. After a certain point, yeah, they do charge you. Same thing. I'm paying for Google storage as well.
Same,
Google also. That's what
Google
I'm saying.
Cloud,
like
Google Drive.
Majority of the industry usually charges. Either they give you a free cloud saves up to a certain point, and then they charge you, or they charge you right off the bat. The thing was with PlayStation, like, so when I made my switch from the PS4 to the PS5, and I was doing the whole login, it was a QR code. I scanned my phone, and boom, all of my information was there, all of my cloud saves, because I had just backed up. Now the thing is, you had to back it up. You had to make sure you backed it up in the PS4, which luckily I did right before my PlayStation 4 died or whatever. The only time it becomes an issue is usually when it comes to like these new versions of the game. For example, like you have Final Fantasy 4, right? Yeah. That's the PS4 version, and then they made a complete new PlayStation 5 version. So it's not the same version. It's two different versions. Versus the Xbox One, how they like I said, how they set everything up.
It's one
everything
SKU
is just
for the
one SKU, so it's easy to to do all of that. So the issue is really becoming with like these separate versions when these companies have to try to figure out a way, like Square figure out a way how to do it, and other companies figure out a way to do it. But other companies, they don't even want the hassle. They just
Nick, you remember when Spider-Man Remaster got announced for PS5? Initially, they weren't gonna do the cross save from the PS4 version.
I mean, shout out to Ubisoft.
People they got on their ass.
Shout out to Ubisoft for figuring out how to do it all cross platform. Your saves, if I wanted to, if I buy Odyssey, if I buy Valhalla, no, you can't. She's in there. If I buy Valhalla on the PS5, I can just pick up where I went off if I just log into my Uplay. So all the stuff that I did on the Xbox would just carry over, which I think is dope.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though, man. And me and Smooth talked about this before, right? So you got people tout about sales and profit, and then say, "Well, Sony has to make money, so we shouldn't worry about cloud saves being bothered." Like I see so much of that, like. I don't know, man. It just got to be a line you got to draw at some point, man. And it seemed like, people was a lot more louder about free to play games being behind a paywall, saying they helped Xbox people out by speaking up about it. But then when it comes down to, because they are the biggest, right now, the Sony gamers, I'm not even gonna say fanboys, but even the Sony fans don't even speak up about that. And that is like troubling, because in the future, when they the market leader, I think you have to speak up about stuff like that, because you can't brag about sales and profits and then be like, well, they need money. Like, hold up, bro.
Well,
Like,
look, I was on. Let me give a shout out to Wooly, because I was on his podcast on Sunday, and I brought up the same thing you said. Like, these games on PlayStation are selling, millions and millions of copies. So the developers are making their money for these games. So when I brought up the Ghost of Tsushima situation, I was like, listen, I don't mind paying for the DLC, right? But I spent $80 on the deluxe version of the game, steelbook and everything, right? Mm-hmm. Because I own that copy of the game, can I at least get access to the DualSense and the PS5 features? But, they were like, but the developers have to eat. But then here's what else I brought up. I said Spider-Man Miles Morales. When it first came out, initially, it wasn't selling fast until people started getting more PS5s and the attach rates were there. And now Spider-Man Miles Morales is charting every single month because there's more PS5s out there for people to get. Right? So I was like, how come that situation doesn't apply? Because if you had the PS4 version of Miles Morales, you get the PS5 version for free just by paying your discount. But the thing there was, the game was made for both systems at the same time. So it's like, what is it gonna be? Are we going to say the developers need money even though they're making a lot of money already? Or is it gonna be, hey, like, this is something that we're gonna do? I don't mind, like I said, I don't mind paying for the Ghost expansion to get the upgrade because I actually like that game. And you guys know, like, I've been supporting that game for like the past year. Like, I used to really, really like cap for that game hard. But to get called entitled just because I want a free upgrade, like, that doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's the stuff I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's one of the worst excuses. Like, this whole thing's like the developer has to get paid. They gotta eat. You gotta stop. They get paid. They are paid already. Salary. They get paid salary, bro. They work for
these games.
They're owned by Sony, dog. They don't like you. Like, bro, like, for example, Kojima, he's the one that doesn't like director's cut. He already done made his money from freaking Death Stranding. I don't think that shit has nothing to do with him. The new release that's coming out, he at best he's probably getting a royalty check, but like that, like that's already done. They're already paid. A lot of these guys are paid in advance. A lot of these guys are paid salary. Like, literally, they're not relying on you to buy this $10 upgrade.
Oh shit! I was on mute. My bad. Yeah. No, I wanted to say something. I was trying to talk the whole time. I was on mute. Bad. No. I wanted to say something back to what Nick was saying. How, these people are not speaking up about cloud saves, but they spoke up against free to play. Mm-hmm. But like I was saying before, cloud saves they're not called free to save, and it's not a standard thing across the entire industry as far in any media where all cloud saves are completely free for everybody, and that they're just free for everybody. And Sony's the only one that's charging. But listen, right? When it comes to free to play, literally in the title it says free to play. So if you're charging me a fee to access a free to play game, that is where the issue was. Because how can you call something free to play, but you're still charging a fee to play that game for free? Then it's not free to play.
Have to pay for the game.
I got something. Yeah, right.
That's why when I hear free to play,
you don't have to pay for the game, because what do you call a retail game that you pay $60, $70 for, and you still got to pay to play the game online? Like,
right. That's called pay to play. That's pay to play.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, bro. But you take the same logic and you put it into a free to play game.
Right.
The game itself, entry is $0 to get into.
Exactly.
It's free.
But the developers also said that, we're not gonna charge you to even access our servers, to even play online for our servers. you don't even have to. You don't. We're not going to charge you. But Microsoft was still charging Xbox Live for games that were free when it was a standard across the industry. PC, PlayStation, and Nintendo, none of them were charging for free-to-play games, right? But God forbid, Sony or Nintendo, whatever, like, oh, you got to put a little money for cloud saves, which isn't a standard across the industry that the whole thing is free.
What do you mean by that? It's not a standard across the industry.
Before y'all get to it, I do got to
referring?
pay respects to Brain Cells on Fire. He sent the super chat like a while ago, and I don't want to forget it.
All right, go ahead.
I like that name, by the way.
Out there.
Brain Cells on Fire. He says the DualSense makes games so much more immersive. I meant to read that before we went to the next subject.
Fair
Shout out
point.
to Brain Cells on Fire. The DualSense makes games so much more immersive. So I've heard. All right, and make sure I didn't miss out on another one. It looks like we're good. All right, carry on.
All right, let me just say this one thing though.
And then
Chris.
y'all
I
are defending.
understand what
Well,
you mean.
it's because you didn't have to pay for the game, so it was okay. You see what I'm saying? You see how like
No, I
the
don't.
shoes
I
on the
don't
other foot, how
disagree with
people.
you, though.
It's just, I just didn't like how people were making such a big deal about that when
It's
like,
free
are you?
to play. Come on, man.
What I'm saying is everyone's like, well, you have to pay to play. It's like, but are you only playing that free to play game? You're not playing
Right.
any
You
other
can use that
multiplayer. You're
point.
not playing Call of Duty, not playing Rainbow Six, not playing Battlefield, not playing any of these other titles that already require you to have Xbox
That used
Live
to be my
or
argument.
PlayStation Plus. Like to sit there and say there is
that is
only
a false equivalency. Because pretty much what you're saying is, hey, because you play these other online games, why is it an issue like that? These free-to-play game is also locked behind a paywall that you already play for these other online games. But that's not the point. The point is that go ahead.
No, well, I'm saying is everybody was making a big deal about it, but to sit there and say, "Oh, it's a big deal," everybody already had like Xbox Live Gold. Like I've never heard.
No,
the only
already
time
has
I've ever
Xbox
heard
Live Gold.
anybody complain about Xbox, blocking free-to-play games behind paywalls was on the other side of PlayStation and stuff like that. I've never heard a single Xbox user saying, "Oh, damn, I can't play this free-to-play game because I don't have Xbox Live Gold." No,
Facts.
they
How many
already have
subscribers are in
Xbox.
gold? Because you said most people have gold, right? So how many subscribers is gold?
That's not what he was saying.
What I'm saying is if someone's playing multiplayer games, they already know in their head, I'm on this platform. Same with PlayStation. You want to play multiplayer games, you're paying for PlayStation Plus. On Xbox, it's the same damn thing. You're playing multiplayer games, you're paying for Xbox Live Gold. Now, Nintendo, mind you, they have one of the worst online services ever. Now to play online games on Nintendo, you have I think it's a $13 a year Nintendo.
It's just $20
Nintendo
a
Network. Is it 20? My wife pays for mine, so I don't know the exact price.
Hey.
So it's like you are already in these mindsets that if you're only wanting to play free to play games, which I have not come across a single person.
You about to get a cell phone
all
for that
that
shit.
they've
There's a
ever
huge
played.
crowd of people like that.
Well,
A lot of people playing
There's a huge
Fortnite.
crowd
Like,
that-
there's not 80 million Xbox Live subscribers that are all playing multiplayer
Might
games.
be.
Hold on.
Right.
This is what I want to say. So pretty much what you're saying is, hey, because the people who already play online games, they're already paying for Xbox Live Gold. Therefore, it's not a big deal that these free to play games are also behind the paywall. That's not the issue. The issue is not, hey, because I have PS Plus, why do I care if I'm being charged free to play or whatever? That's not the issue, because I can say the same thing about cloud saves. A lot of people have PS Plus, so why are they worried about whether their cloud saves are free or not? So you see how I can switch the same logic back on the cloud save, but the thing is, cloud saves aren't called like free to save. What I was saying earlier, free to play games is usually like you have the lowest barrier access to the game. It's completely free, and there's no other additional fee other than microtransaction being acquired. The thing with Xbox Live is, hey, if you want to access these free-to-play games like a Fortnite or like a Warzone or like Apex Legend, which more people are playing that than they're playing Gears or even Halo now, right? Then they still have to pay for Xbox Live to get access to the games. Meanwhile, the standard across the industry, PC, Nintendo, phones, PlayStation, none of them charge you for these free-to-play games. You don't need
That's
Plus.
great.
Go ahead.
No, I'm saying that's great. I just had a problem with a bunch of PS Plus subscribers telling me that it's an issue that Xbox Live charges for this thing. Because they were talking as if you could literally turn off Xbox Live, the service, right, to play your free-to-play and then turn it back on to play your fucking mainline games. It's like,
that's how they built the system.
This is me kind of just doing a little bit of research on Google, and some of the numbers are outdated. But Xbox Live Gold users in Q3 of 2019 was up to 63 million users, all right, for Xbox Live Gold. And for Xbox One unit sales just between December 2017 to November 2020 was 48.4 million sales.
Right. Make a lot of sense. I just want to say one thing though.
I'm just saying.
I'll go finish.
Well, I'm just saying it. I mean, it almost looks like a ratio. I mean, just from doing quick, I'm not able to pull the most up-to-date numbers, but it's like an Xbox Live Gold account is tied to an Xbox One sale.
Numbers don't lie.
I mean, that's where I am looking at right now. So for someone to sit there and say, well, there's only people just straight up playing free-to-play games. If I'm looking at there's basically one Xbox Live Gold account or one Xbox One out there.
Because they needed gold to play the free-to-play games.
But you hear that, Chris?
But you are the one saying that they're only playing. You are the one saying that they're only playing the free-to-play.
No,
games.
I'm not. There's people that are playing both and stuff like that. But I'm just the issue. Hold on. The issue is it's not that. Oh, because since I play multiplayer games and I'm already charging for online, and I'm already paying for online, therefore the free to games being included in that paywall shouldn't be a big deal to me because since I'm already paying for that. But I can say the same thing with the cloud. Like I'm already paying for PlayStation Plus, so therefore the free cloud saves doesn't matter to me because it's already included with the service that I'm already paying for, and there's 50 million PlayStation Plus members.
That's math.
You know what I mean?
So let me say this. That's why I wanted to. Nobody. All right. So nobody's saying that we actually joined with y'all, and we was like, yeah, y'all got fair point. We shouldn't have to pay to play free to play games. Right? We went with you. We was not against it. Nope. The 10 people that was against it, pulling out guns and all that extra stuff. Everybody knows about that. We're not gonna go there, right? But what I will say is, we were with y'all on that. And it seems like the same thing is not happening.
Who's we? We were with y'all. What are you talking about?
No, me personally, Smooth, and everybody else, we was like, yeah, we shouldn't have to do it. But coming from the group of people that said they don't want to buy Xbox Series X when it come out, and back in 2017, Salty, Jazz, I'm gonna say names, these same people making videos about it, but when it comes to cloud saves, they defend it. And that's the majority of the PlayStation dudes that's on Twitter, Facebook. They all side with Sony every time we say something about something that should be free. That's all I'm saying. PC and Xbox together, that's an industry. That's over, 80 million?
Oh,
come on,
that.
bro. You
well over
you
that
tripping,
when you include the PC community.
Let's just be honest, right? That's all I'm saying, right? Majority of the people on Twitter defended it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
In our circle.
Let me read y'all chat first.
Okay, majority. So you can find me 50 screenshots right now of people completely defending that. Whatever.
Really?
Kid Smooth. Kid Smooth can start a poll. He can legit start a poll.
What's the poll? Small minority. He's gonna get a couple thousand.
Should cloud saves be free on PlayStation?
Majority is 60 million right? Because PlayStation
Yes.
4 was PlayStation
Yes.
5 is like what, like 120 million or whatever.
I tell
The
you this,
majority will be 61 million people.
He can do
I'll
a
tell you
poll and then
this.
watch the responses he gets from a lot of these
Right.
guys in the comments. They're gonna be like, why should cloud saves be free on PlayStation Plus?
Right, but that's
You-
the fanboy. That's the
Okay,
niche
look,
We're not
crap. Like, if
talking
only-
about fanboys. We're talking about
Chris is right. Chris
PlayStation
is right.
gamers. I'm not even just talking about. We know who's gonna defend it. That's fine. That's okay. I don't care about that. We're talking about the regular people who watch our stream, the regular people who have PlayStation 5. Are they gonna defend that?
Oh, he actually put it in there.
Let me read the super
Yeah,
chat
and guess what?
from-
And I play. Oh, go ahead.
from Don Nataku. He says, for $5, Don Nataku, shout out to you. He says, I agree about the free-to-play argument, but PS and Nintendo are the only ones who charge for cloud saves. It's a standard across all PC platforms and Xbox.
Not Apple.
What are you bringing Apple into it for?
But okay, you
Because
have
we're
a
talking about-
The
Hold up.
thing is,
Hold up.
you
Hold on,
bring
listen,
up
listen.
you bring
I
up
just-
Apple. Listen,
No, but
you
listen,
bring
I
up
just- okay,
Apple.
so-
You bring
Go
up
ahead, go ahead.
Google. You bring up Apple. You bring up Google. But there is a barrier that you can get that is completely free right off the bat,
Cool.
and then obviously, if you exceed that limit, you have options to upgrade. You know,
That's
however
facts.
many gigs and stuff you want. So, but like I have a Google account. I don't pay for any all my stuff can transfer. I've not gone over that limit.
Do you have PS
Uh,
Plus?
Huh? Do I have PS Plus? I
Yeah.
think I don't honestly know at this point because I don't
But
play.
you have PS Plus, right?
Yeah,
or you have
I've had
PS
it
Plus or whatever.
before. I don't know if my account's still active.
So Kiss Move, you put the voting, right?
Yeah.
I picked yes. Should cloud saves be free on PlayStation? I picked yes, right? Because I think I mean it saves, right? To me, it's like it saves. You know but at the same time, it's like I don't understand how y'all getting that. But in the same breath, talks about because these because Xbox Live Gold people play multiplayer games already. It's not a big deal that free to play games were being charged had an extra fee to get access to. Like I don't understand how y'all get on the cloud saves, but then y'all sit here and talk about how free to play games behind the paywall Xbox Live Gold isn't a big deal because people who play on Xbox multiplayer already have.
It was though when it got changed.
I'm talking about from y'all. I'm talking about
Yeah,
No,
my
it
thing
got
was
changed.
I just knew that when it was time to pay for Xbox Live Gold, I knew I was paying to access online multiplayer games. I didn't know if it was free or whatever. I just knew that's what I needed to play online games. So the fact that select games were free, it's like I get what you're saying, Chris, and you're not wrong. But my thing is, if my argument, it wasn't really that I had beef with you. My answer always was to this every time somebody came to me with that bullshit. I was like, as somebody that plays live Call of Duty, Halo, or something like that why the hell do I care if I can access Roblox or fucking Fortnite for free if I barely play those? It just doesn't. It's just like, I get it. Yes, it should be free, but you're telling that to the wrong person. I was like, it will not change. And since then, it actually has changed. And it has not changed the way I consume games on Xbox when they removed that paywall from free-to-play games. It didn't change. And even if it's not like I'm gonna just go, they gave me the opportunity to participate in the beta. I was like, well, why would I cancel my Game Pass Ultimate to fucking play some shit I don't want to play? I'm not doing it just to prove I don't need Xbox Live to play this shit online.
Do it.
Like,
Smooth. I 100% because I'm the same way. I got PlayStation Plus. It wouldn't change anything for me if it's free or not free or anything like that. I already have the service, right? I already own the service and everything like that. Like I agree with you. But that wasn't my point. My point was your personal take as far as I already have live, so I didn't really care, right?
yeah.
That wasn't the issue with the free to play game. The issue was, and this is gonna be the last time I talk. We should move on, honestly, because we've been going on long enough. The thing is, the issue is like if it's called free to play, and every other gaming device, right? Then you're not required to subscribe to the services where they charge you for multiplayer, right? Then y'all sitting here saying, well, that's okay because I already have Xbox Live and everything like that. I understand it's insignificant to people who already own Xbox Live. It's not a big deal to them. They already pay for the service and shit like that. But the principle of it being called free to play, but you still, that's one of the reasons why Final Fantasy 14 never came to the Xbox, because not only does Final Fantasy 14, right, they charge you a monthly fee. Once you get to a certain point, right, it's free to play now to a certain point, but they charge you a monthly fee, right? But they were gonna charge you that monthly fee on top of what you already pay for Xbox versus on PlayStation, right? They charge you for the monthly free, but you don't need PlayStation Plus to play online for Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, because they charge, but it's not a free-to-play game. They charge you a monthly fee.
But you can't bring your saves to PC,
It's a
though.
separate subscription.
You got to pay for that.
It's almost free to play.
It's cross saves on PC for FF.
It's almost free to play.
All right. So moving on.
I don't even know how we got to that topic.
Free to play games are free on Xbox finally after.
Now it is.
So.
So it's all good now. It's all good. So nobody should have any issues now, right? As far as that,
it is end of a no game era. So I would like to say, rest in peace to the Xbox got no games jokes. They still gonna pull out the 600 days, 700 days shit, but we all know it is fraudulent. We are officially at the end of a no game era because it's July, and this is the month where the games for Xbox is gonna start coming in, and from here on till whenever, it's not going to stop. The droughts are actually over. So this month, Xbox gets Death's Door.
So you meant there's a drought.
Flight Sim and the Ascent to close out the month of July. These are all exclusive to the Xbox platform, and obviously we know August is going to be bumping and whatnot. So what were you saying, Chris?
What did I say? I forgot. I literally forgot what I said.
You say Xbox got no games, bro.
No. I said, so you admit that? No. This is what I said. I remember what I said.
Somebody like a lot of noise in the background, or
yeah.
That's me. That's me.
Like you got a bird.
No, what I was saying is Smooth. So Smooth admits that there was a drought.
I'm not admitting that there was a drought. I'm saying, like, if I'm going based off what Yak think what no games is, then okay, if this means no games, then this means there is games. So if I have to go based off that logic, then if this is a drought, then this is not a drought.
if it ain't exclusive, it don't matter. Logic.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I just want people. I just want to see if people are willing to accept that and to acknowledge that Xbox is really are about to the floodgates about to happen, because I said this of the 6 major games that's coming out, or not even major. And I'm gonna tell you this right now. For the rest from now to the end of the year, everything that's releasing on Xbox exclusive, nothing is getting lower than an 85.
Oh God!
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
You just did.
Oh, man.
No.
You know what you just did, Smooth? You just jinxed it. You just jinxed it, Smooth.
No, he didn't. Here's what's gonna happen. They're gonna move the goalposts like they always do. They're gonna deflect and come up with a new narrative. Xbox has games, but it ain't AAA. It's not getting 80s and 90s on Metacritic. They're gonna move the goalposts some way, somehow.
Simulators already on the PC.
Yeah, Flight Sim was already on PC. This game is coming to PC. Why do I need to get an Xbox when I can get a PC? But a lot of these guys will never get a PC. Why? They don't want to spend
multiplayer.
They don't want to spend the money on the PC. So stop bringing up that narrative if you don't want to buy a PC. That's just the fact of the matter, in my opinion. With these guys saying, "Oh, PC this, PC that," but they would never buy a PC. But guess what? They do buy Xboxes.
No,
Yeah, they
once
do.
once that whole PlayStation games going to PC thing started, everybody suddenly didn't have a PC. So
Yeah, they didn't have a PC. They said they got PC for Xbox games, but when it comes to PlayStation games, they don't need PC.
yeah,
It's funny, man. And now the PlayStation games are coming to PC, but it's not day and date. But what's gonna happen when there's a game that's day and date?
That's day and day and shit like that, and people are gonna be
They
like,
just
well, I love
stop. It's okay.
PlayStation. I mean, but that goes with any any fanboy community. They're always gonna change narratives on anything, whether it goes their way or don't go their way. They're always gonna change shit. Like the whole thing was like the Forza ray tracing, right? The whole situation was like the Forza Horizon 5 and the ray tracing, whatever. Last year, not everybody, I'm not gonna say everybody, but there was a lot of fanboys on the Xbox camp that were really hyping up that Xbox is going to have the superior ray tracing, that PlayStation doesn't have hardware ray tracing and stuff like that. And then when a game comes out,
RDNA 1, baby.
yeah, RDNA 1 and all that stuff. Then when a game comes out, like me, I don't care, right? Forza Horizon is going to be one of the best looking games this year without the fucking reflection of ray tracing, right? As from what I've seen, that game looks absolutely amazing. It looks like a next generation game, even though it's cross-gen. But then now, right, those same people that were really talking about ray tracing and we're gonna have ray tracing with all these games or whatever. Now they're talking about well, Forza doesn't need ray tracing and not every game needs ray tracing. The narrative always changes. So
It got ray trace audio though.
Like why y'all let these Sony fanboys really bother y'all that much? Like who gives a fuck? Just enjoy your shit and who cares? Like
Yeah, what dude? I think it was another lad. He posted up a picture of Forza Horizon 5, one of the desert levels, and you know how Mexico got like some desert levels, and there's like sparse grass. Because why would there be a whole lot of grass in the fucking desert? I don't know. But he highlights and he's pointing lack. He's like, there's no grass. It has bad interscopic filtering because the lack of. I'm like, this dude. I was like, he has to be trolling. There's no way this is a serious tweet. But I'm looking at the likes and the replies, and people just agreeing, and they're zooming in. Oh, the car's too shiny. I'm like,
shit, bro. I don't even pay attention to those people. I've been muting a lot of PlayStation fanboys on Twitter too, because some of them shits have been annoying too, as well. So,
what I'll say is, I'm looking forward to the second half of this year because, like I said, I feel like there's each month there is a. I mean, I'm not gonna call them, bangers. I'll leave that the, PlayStation fans to identify games as bangers. But I see a whole lot of unique types of games coming through. Death Door, I think is this week. Give that a try. And that's not on Game Pass for those. So I will be buying the game. It's surprising, an exclusive that's not on Game Pass. But I do want to talk about the thing is Xbox. The number one question I get from people. When they were like, well, how do you go, through a new generation without any next gen games or any games or anything like that? And I looked at it, I was like, I don't really know. But the thing is, Xbox, the way they pace their game releases, right? All right, so you take their launch games, whatever, second party, third party partnerships, right? Multi-plat games, next gen ports, cool. They add in FPS boost, the filter in, cool. Then they get the stuff like the medium and Call of C and High Busters, the filter in. And then when there's an actual exclusive drought, you get hit with day one, like major games day one. MLB The Show, fucking Octopath, Outriders into Game Pass. So that filter, so I didn't feel like, throughout this entire year, I didn't feel like I was missing anything. So now
it's because you're an idiot, Smooth. That's why.
You said what?
It's because you're not an idiot. That's why.
Oh man.
Yeah. So yeah, it feels like that's how I feel like I've been saying all this shit. I feel like I'm not missing anything. This whole thing of like this lack of next gen or lack of first party exclusive. There's this obsession that in order for me or Xbox guys to enjoy the Xbox, Microsoft itself have to publish a game exclusively for the box to make the box worth having or trying or worth enjoying. And that concept I haven't quite grasped yet of why that's not. Now I get it. Like, of course I want exclusive, but it's like okay, I get it. Yeah, you're right. But it's like, I don't know what it is. Something's not clicking of the requirement that it has to be, this person has to make the game for your console to be relevant.
No, Nintendo, we have to deal with that over here on Nintendo too, so don't even think it's exclusive to Microsoft.
Well, Nintendo
has great quality
You
first
guys
party
know,
games.
I'm saying, like, even if you were to like include multiplats in Nintendo's lineup, people aren't trying to hear that. And if you try to include like exclusive, if it's not made by Nintendo, they don't include those either.
Yeah, exactly.
So I could be like, yo, we got Bravely Default, we got this guy. Those aren't made by Nintendo. Oh, we got Pokemon, Bandai Namco.
Monster Hunter. Oh, that's Capcom, right?
Yeah, that'll be on PC in a year. I'm like, okay, then.
Nah, I don't agree to that. Like, just because it's not made from the first party, it doesn't count as part of their lineup. No, hell yeah, absolutely. Look, Deathloop counts as a lineup for the end of the summer or the beginning of the holidays.
Tokyo,
even though that's not a PlayStation, even though that's not as Bethesda, right? Yeah. But that counts towards the PlayStation lineup. So anybody who takes away games, depending on whether they're first party or not, I always felt like that was dumb. Like, I never did that. It's like even like some of the third party titles, because it's like, yeah, in between these droughts from like the exclusive, then you have the third party games that fills in. That's still content on the platform. That's still brand new content that you still in brand new games that is available to your platform. So I never really understood like the whole thing. Me personally, when I look at Xbox, it's not that fact, because Xbox, they have no games. Like, whenever I said that, I never meant that like in a literal sense, right? Because they have plenty of games. They have plenty of third party support. They have plenty of, some of the second party and stuff like that. My whole thing is, it's like, to me, it's not that Xbox has no games, right? Because that's not true. To me, for me personally, it's Xbox doesn't have any games that I really want to play as of right now.
As of right now, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to say is like there's people who bought Xbox because there are games that are coming out that they're excited for. We had the announcements from last year, you have the announcements from this year. Like, there are people that are legitimately excited for a lot of these titles. So to sit here and act like these titles don't exist or that they're not coming, like a Hellblade 2, like a Fable, Eval, games like that, like, you can't do that.
Some of those games are far away though.
Yeah, they're far away, but that doesn't mean I can't be excited for them.
Like, it doesn't mean you can't. Look at something like that you can't enjoy the system.
What was that one game that got shown? It was Project Athia, but they renamed it. I forgot what it was.
Forspoken. Yeah.
Forspoken. Like, that game's far out, but I'm still excited for that game.
They said it's actually early next year. I believe they said that's when.
Yeah, it says early 2022.
Yeah, and then like something like God of War Ragnarok doesn't even have like an actual launch window, but I'm excited for that game. We don't know what's gonna happen when that game's gonna come out.
Yeah, but the thing is,
Israel or something like.
Well, PlayStation, at least for me, like, there are games that are far out that I'm looking forward to, but they also provided me with games that I really
have now. Yeah, you have now. So I understand
personally really appealed to me. Demon Souls, the Soul series is like my third favorite series of all time. I love Spider-Man. I love Returnal. People have problems with that, but I love that. I love Ratchet and Clank, and I'm looking forward to like shit like Kenna, even Deathloop and shit like that. So, like, PlayStation, they from the beginning, they provided, with the type of gamer that I am, the type of games that I like, right? Not everybody has the same taste as me, but they provided with shit that I wanted from launch. It's the same thing with Nintendo, like the Nintendo Switch. Nintendo, all they literally have to do is drop a Zelda game, and I'm buying that shit regardless, right? They literally have that one game that I will buy. So Nintendo had a game at launch that I really wanted to play. Microsoft, they don't really have that for me right now.
And that's another thing.
I believe that they will. Like, I'm excited for Fable, right? And I'm excited and now that I've seen what they're doing with Forza Horizon 5 and that engine and that tech, oh my god! Like, my hype for Fable is through the roof if they do it right and if they do it properly and shit like that. I'm excited for Eval because I like the last Worlds too, or not that last. What's it called? The Outer Worlds. Yeah, I like them series and shit like that. But the thing
I don't
is,
think Fable got that much hype around it like it should.
Not yet,
Like,
because it's so
They,
far
they only
away.
showed a little trailer. They
haven't-
haven't shown
they haven't
me
really-
anything else.
They haven't really
It's just-
marketed the game, right? It's like once we get closer to its release and they really start showing gameplay and shit like that, I think we're gonna see the excitement more. If it looks
Perfect.
amazing, if it's great. But the problem with me, the games that I'm looking forward to Xbox, they seem like they're just years away. Like they're just years away. Like Halo was cool, but I've never really been a big Halo fan. But that's gonna be a huge game this holiday, and I hope that game is
Yes.
great for Halo fans, regardless of how like Smooth. PlayStation is gonna pick. PlayStation fanboys are gonna pick that game apart. They're gonna find every little nook and cranny and say, "Yo, this is trash.
You're
It's
right.
12 T flops and whatever." But who gives a fuck if you play Halo Infinite and that shit's amazing, right? And the multiplayer is amazing and the story is amazing. Who gives a fuck? Like I play Returnal, right? I love the game. A lot of people didn't like the game. I won't even say a lot of people. Some people didn't like the game. Kid Smooth completely didn't like the game. He said that shit sucks. That shit's dog shit. That didn't stop my enjoyment. I didn't get on Smooth. I didn't say no Smooth. Blah 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 blah. That didn't stop my enjoyment for the game. He said the same thing with Ghost of Tsushima last year. Ghost of Tsushima was like my second game of the year last year. That game was absolutely amazing, better than any Assassin's Creed. But Smooth wouldn't agree with me. He didn't like Ghost of Tsushima and he thinks Assassin's Creed better. Smooth's opinion does not move or change my opinion, and that's what I'm trying to tell you. Smooth is like you're an Xbox fanboy, right? You're always taking shots at PlayStation and all that shit, right? Because it's part of the fanboy wars and whatever, right? It's all good. Sometimes I engage in that too, but because of who you are in the community, Smooth, there's always gonna be people that just attack you and just so it's either like you just ignore them or you just stop letting. So you gotta stop letting fanboys ruin your enjoyment of Xbox. If you love Xbox, exactly.
I really like Xbox. I don't love Xbox as a hobby in gaming. Obviously I love gaming, but
right.
There's
nothing wrong with that
on PlayStation, Nintendo, PC that's gonna stop me from enjoying Xbox. Like now, trust me. I'm because I didn't think this was possible, but it's obviously possible because I watch people get what's the word? Really pushed by fanboys and insecure to the point they literally made a personality change, a console change, and stuff like that based off what was happening to them in regards to on Twitter and YouTube. That would never. Nobody's going to talk shit to me so bad I'm going to switch to like PlayStation more. It's just not going to happen. I'm sorry. I'll always buy out of respect. Like buy a PlayStation, keep a PlayStation around because they drop some my favorite games. Nintendo, I just can't do it. I try. I can't keep a Nintendo platform in my house longer than 90 days. Like I can't. But the thing is that nobody's gonna stop me from liking or enjoying Xbox. I don't care what nobody says. It is what it is. You can tell me how much games they don't have or how much old games are playing. It's just like it is what it is. That's not going to change. So when I'm going back at these dudes and whatnot, I don't even know why I do it. It's a waste of time. It's just a lot of hypocrisy. It's a lot of inconsistencies, and it's just I have to learn to tell myself like, yo, it's just a never-ending cycle of the same shit. It's just never going to end. It's like, okay, they're going to be popping shit about this and that, and then something similar is going to come up with the PlayStation, and it's going to be the same thing over and over again. I remember fighting with people online about the whole free-to-play and why it doesn't matter if they drop Xbox Live gold requirement for it, to now having people defend $10 upgrade fees for PS4 to PS5 games, and it's like, oh, I get it now. I get it. They're me. It's just reversed. Okay.
Well, what about the games you have to upgrade on the Xbox?
What about the games I have to upgrade?
That you gotta pay for upgrade, like 2K.
No, that's not first party. We're not talking.
No, it's not even that.
Party.
gonna do you one better.
And we don't support that either.
But y'all just said, why do people
right
always mention
now?
only first
Let
parties?
me. There's no really real grading thing right now for games like Madden 22 and 2K22 because right now they're all releasing at the same time. I have no reason to download or buy the Xbox One version.
So you got to pay the $70.
There's no upgrade fee. I'm not playing $70. I'm gonna play my EA Access trial and then wait till that shit drop into the fucking game.
And wait till that shit. And boom, and there you go. That's the solution for all these other things as well. You don't like the price? Don't buy it.
Like I said, I don't got beef. See, the thing is, my issue is I have no expectations for third parties. I expect them to be scumbags. It's the first party that is what pushes. So when Sony's charging for the upgrade fee for their games, it's just like, Like EA, I expect 2K, I expect, but I expect the first party dudes to like treat their consumers like they put them on a pedestal, right? Xbox puts us on the I hate saying this, but Xbox, I feel like it puts their game at first. Is like, all right, for no matter what type of upgrade we're gonna do, we ain't gonna nickel and dime you for you to get the best out of our games on this platform, like whatever, like upgrades, updates, whatever, your saves, like whatever, you're just gonna be able to have it. They push smart delivery down our throats, the whole catchphrase or what they call it, buzzword.
They call it a buzzword, but it's an actual feature that works.
Yeah, they literally bullied other publishers into volunteering because it was like, this is gonna look bad if we don't. And the thing, and this is the reason why we have this issue today. We have four major publishers who opted for the price hike. Who opted to cash in on upgrades, and so that's why you have this divide of there's these publishers that we know for a fact is going to charge $70 for their games, and we got this publishers who I know for a fact is going to charge more to to upgrade to the next gen version, or who won't support smart delivery because it's not much. It's not like when you on Xbox you're met with like this $10. Upgrade difference. It's like you're either buying the Xbox One version or you're buying the Series X version at that point.
Yeah. But y'all know this whole upgrade thing, right? This like smart delivery and stuff. Yeah, I know this ain't gonna go out for a long time. This is
it dies next year. It's done next year.
Yeah, once we start getting next gen only games, literally none of that applies.
But
so a lot of these third party games like Capcom and shit like that, they're gonna start moving their games up to $70.
Absolutely, that's why it was a big deal for the first a couple years. So I knew, smart delivery and stuff. It's not gonna be needed in 2022 and 2023 when they're obviously Series X and S only games and whatnot. But technically, actually, they could technically still use smart delivery, being that the Xbox Series
cloud
X,
version and shit.
Series X, S, PC, and cloud are all different versions of. You get different performances from each of those versions of the game. So technically, if you start out on a Series S and then you later get a Series X, you smart delivery because you got now a newer a more capable version of the game. And then if you get rid of your console and you want to move to PC, well, you kind of have like another version of the game that you can tap into. So, but I think that is it. Did I miss anything?
I have one thing right here. Crytek is in reports. Well, they're trying to sell to multiple buyers, so Crytek is up for sale right now.
Wait, when did they put this out?
This is something new today.
300 million?
Yeah, they're going. That's the starting price, 300 million reportedly. And one of the lead buyers right now is Tencent. Tencent is
they can have them.
One of the leaders right now.
Fuck them. They can have them. How much was Insomniac? Was it
229 million?
Yeah. They want too much. Tencent could go ahead and they can have them. They can have them.
Well, you want to know, it's not just like the studio, but it's the tech that they have as well.
Yeah, they're crying. Yeah,
and I don't really. CryEngine's okay. It's not bad, but like CryEngine pushes hardware a lot, and I think they need to find a way to make CryEngine a bit more optimized,
less
a bit more flexible.
Intensive.
Because you look at something like Insomniac and what they're doing with the engine that they use, and the graphical fidelity and the amount that's happening inside those games that they've been making, like they have performance modes for those games. Yeah. And then you have something like a Crysis, which no matter what generation it's on or what piece of hardware, that shit's just going to be hard to run no matter what. So I don't know. I think they need to figure something out. I
Yeah,
do agree that 300 million is a bit of a high price, but for Tencent, for what I've been seeing, from reports from them in particular, they've been raising billions and billions of dollars to make acquisitions in particular.
Yeah, I don't like Tencent. I don't know why. But I mean,
yeah. If there's any company I'm actually more afraid, it's Tencent
Yeah.
because they the ones who really got the like. They really, I mean, Microsoft does too, right? Microsoft has more money than Tencent, obviously, but Tencent has been the
been
one
raising
that's
cash.
kind of be more aggressive towards acquisitions
Yeah.
than any other company. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. I don't know, like Crytek, they haven't really done anything, unless it was like Crisis 2 was like, or Crisis 2 or
Well,
3. I haven't played 3, but Crisis 2 was like the best game that they had. They came out with a game 2 years ago.
Homefront.
It was.
Is it Homefront?
Was it Homefront? No. It was the one where it's kind of like a battle royale, but it's 2 players and it's like a bunch of like demonic things running around in the woods. I forgot what it was. It was called The Hunt, right?
Oh yeah, the
Showdown or something
Hunt.
like
Yeah,
that.
Hunt Showdown.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that game really didn't do. That game flopped. Like that game didn't really do that well.
It's like the thing is the thing about Crytek. The only thing I give them, the only reason why Crytek is a thing in my mental is because of Rise in the Room. That's the only thing. It's like I know Crisis is a thing. I know Crisis is a historic franchise. I know it resonates more with the PC. But me personally, as a console gamer and whatnot, I was never a fan of Crisis itself, the game or anything like that. I have no history with that series. My only history from Crytek is Rise, Homefront, and then some of the other third-party games that they're engine powered. I know they powered Prey and a few other games and whatnot. I mean, like I said, I know Xbox was rumored to get them, and it's like I feel indifferent. Like if Microsoft announced, "Oh, we acquired Crytek," I'm like, all right, who else did you acquire along with that? Because the only thing I don't put too much stake, or I don't value Crytek high enough.
I don't think it's necessary for them to even get a Crytek because they have the Bethesda acquisitions with all those studios and talents. And you have tech, so you can integrate its software's technology into different games, and even have them share those resources with a lot of your first-party studios internally. So for Crytek, I'm like, you don't really need it, right? I would rather have them buy someone like NetherRealm Studios, where they have the Mortal Kombat IP, they have the Injustice IP. Which it's tied to Warner Bros, but they can find a way to
they don't have to
keep that in there.
That's
That's a Warner Bros thing, and then they can work on Killer Instinct. You can be like, hey, Ed Boon, you and your team make Killer Instinct, and you can do some sort of Mortal Kombat Killer Instinct crossover, something like that, and it will perform pretty well because that's what the fans want. Is a return to that. But in regards to NetherRealm Studios in particular, Warner Bros have recently come out saying that they're not up for sale. So I don't know how true that is.
Yeah.
No, they said they. Okay, so Warner Brothers. It looks like they're selling companies that, like, I guess, like, to trim off some of their fat. Like, they're selling certain companies, but other companies they're not letting go of. NetherRealm is definitely one of those companies that they're not letting go of. But if they were to sell NetherRealm, right, since WP now owns the Mortal Kombat IP, do y'all think WB will include the Mortal Kombat IP with the sale of NetherRealm?
You don't buy NetherRealm without the Mortal Kombat IP.
You need the Mortal Kombat IP.
You're
asking them to make a fresh franchise. I think here's the thing: if NetherRealm, if NetherRealm gets sold, because who's the head of that snake? Ed Boon created Mortal Kombat. He created Mortal Kombat. He's been there since day one. If he does not have Mortal Kombat, he is not going. And if he's not there, that's essentially the downfall. And it's like, why are you buying them? That's like buying Bethesda without Todd Howard. That doesn't make sense. Like it doesn't make sense whatsoever. Like he's
buying Kojima
he's the
Productions.
leader. He is the face of Bethesda. So to buy NetherRealm and say, hey, you guys can't make Mortal Kombat games, or at least like, hey, you can still make Mortal Kombat games, where we're gonna make it multi-plat. And then you can still do some content for Xbox exclusive. It would just be odd. Like I don't think they would do it without Ed Boon there. And Ed Boon is not going to get sold off to somebody without Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. We have breaking news. Apparently Netflix saying that they're gonna get into gaming,
Yeah.
and they're looking for
Jesus Christ.
shit to start opening up studios. I don't have any faith.
Why is everyone
Because gaming is so popular right now.
Amazon's trying to get into gaming. Google's trying to get into gaming.
Everybody's
Apple
it's a big market.
Apple has Apple Arcade. Like, why is everyone trying to hop into
It's
space that's mainly
It's a
saturated?
big market for anything outside of console gaming.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Google, Amazon, or Netflix can come out with a full blown console that's like on par with like the Xbox or PlayStation, and they do.
Yeah,
well.
I don't think consoles, but like content. What kind of content are they gonna make? Are they gonna make mobile games? Cloud?
They do have. All right, so they did obviously. I don't know if they acquired, but they got some exclusive deal for the Minecraft story mode, which they took off of all consoles, even Xboxes. See, I still have access to mine because I bought mine. But you can only play Minecraft story mode on Netflix, which is you play with the remotes, choice games, and then they've made interactive shows or movies where you choose what happens. Like, you know those games like Late Shift and shit like that. They got content like that on Netflix. So it's like, okay, now if they really get in the game, all right, what are they gonna do? Get like, controller? Are you gonna be streaming? Is these games you can only have access to through the subscription? Are you gonna be able to buy any of these things? That's where the type of questions I start asking. And like I said, I think they can make some noise, but I think it's going to be another situation. It's like a lot of these people are jumping into this thing and not knowing what they're getting into. Netflix, are they losing money on every movie they produce? How much money they're going to lose on if they try to make a traditional game?
In order for these companies to do well, like Netflix, like Google or Amazon or whatever, in gaming, they just have to be they're just gonna have to be a third-party publisher that publishes game for all the consoles.
Yeah,
that's the only way that they can do it. Because if they start doing their own platform, like streaming platform, we already see what's happening with Stadia, and Google's like one of the biggest companies ever, right? But Stadia,
Google can't do nothing right.
Yeah, they're not doing it. That's what I'm saying. It's not an easy market to tap into, especially if you're going to have your own platform that offers exclusive games. Like, no, if these companies want to get into gaming, they're just going to have to be a third-party publisher for other platforms.
That's all they have to do. I with Netflix in particular, Netflix doesn't yield a profit whatsoever. I wouldn't like, this isn't financial advice, but I wouldn't invest in Netflix personally because they're in a lot of debt. So all they're doing is producing they're producing a lot of content just to stay afloat.
Yo, hold up. Y'all got to read the article. That's why I posted it in there.
I didn't read the article. Yeah.
Yeah, when I read the article, they was talking about they're not charging extra. The person who gave up this information said that they're not trying to charge extra, which we know they probably would go up on a subscription, but
they go up every year. Yep.
Right. They have more access to the consumers than Google and Xbox, to be honest.
Because they have an existing subscription base as ready.
Right. They are the ones. This is what Microsoft was talking about when they was like, they don't see Sony as the competition when it comes to that.
When it comes to streaming and cloud.
Yeah, when it comes to that billion that they trying to reach. They knew this was going to happen, bro. Like you got a bigger clientele than me, and you start trying to get into the market I was already in. That's dangerous, bro. Like, you don't want them to be the first ones that the majority see. You want to be the first one to be out there with it.
Yeah, that's true.
That's how I'm looking at it.
Yeah, like because all they have they add a gaming tab to fucking Netflix, and
that's all they got to do, bro. Like the way they advertise it is how it's going to. The outcome is going to go.
If I'm Xbox, what do you do? It's like, all right, because they obviously have to get on TVs first, or they could just push it there, like, hey, let's cut them off right there and be like, all right, we'll integrate cloud gaming with Netflix for a monetary deal. And have at it that way, but shit. See, I
wonder who's going to be the cloud platform that's going to host it though. That's the biggest thing.
Probably AWS.
Yeah,
probably Amazon.
They're gonna use Amazon stuff, and they gotta pay Amazon a cut to host it. We have to see how it's all gonna play out. But you do make a great point, Nick, is that they do have a base of subscribers They just have to update the app, put a tab there, and people are gonna, they're gonna get curious and be like, hey, let me check out this gaming section of Netflix and see what's in there. Hopefully they're able to produce some content. From what it says, that they got an executive from EA and Facebook to lead the effort. I don't know what the hell that Facebook executive is gonna do and what his role was. I'm gonna have to look into that.
You talking about streaming, bro?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into him. And then the EA. Okay, which executive is this from EA? So I'm definitely gonna look into this a bit more and get more information about this.
Boy, you can't keep using profit. I get it. Yeah, profit is what's going on, but the way Netflix survived was off revenue, which people like to downplay revenue. Which profit is better than revenue, but without revenue, you wouldn't even be able to get the investments. They definitely generate revenue, but the thing is they're already in the ultra competitive marketplace where you have something like an xCloud, which is gaining a lot of traction. Yeah, but
you have something like Stadia, but Stadia is failing, and then there's other competitors there.
Stadia and xCloud isn't like if you go to the average person, and they're not going to know about that.
Okay, so what happens? What happens if Sony says, all right, we're going to decide to make a concerted effort to put something like PlayStation Now on TVs as well, and then they're going to be competitive.
Yeah, it was.
It already
TV,
was.
And PlayStation Now isn't horrible. Like streaming, I don't really like streaming. I don't promote streaming video games.
What's going to happen?
It already was.
I'm sorry, but I think what's going to have to happen for consolidation. Someone's going to have to consolidate. Netflix is going to. It all can't work, even though we like to see. Obviously, we see gaming is growing and whatnot, but you look at Netflix, Google, Amazon, Facebook, all these people who are trying to get into gaming the cloud way because they all hold a platform where they have a huge base of people that far exceeds console gaming. I feel like for it to work, there's going to be some consolidation. People are going to have to partner up just to be like, all right.
Not only that, some companies are going to outright fail because what I see happening is there's going to be a lot of stupid money being invested into it, right? And it's going to be like a bubble with cloud gaming. It's like, this isn't a technology that's where it should be. One, you have to understand that if you're nowhere near a server blade to host these cloud services, latency is going to be an issue, right? So there's that thing. Like, Netflix can get it in there easily because think about it. Your smart TVs, your smartphones, these consoles, they all have Netflix. So the majority of people in the world have Netflix, right? That's cool. Yeah. But do you think the gaming thing inside Netflix is going to last that long, especially when there's not a lot of attractive titles? You even look at the mobile space, right? Look at when the iPhone, the initial iPhone first popped off and how video games and mobile was on there. And then look how there was a steep decline in the prices of video games. Like, there were so many different studios investing a lot of money into making mobile games because of how popular it was then, and it's still very popular now. But a lot of companies lost a lot of money because the budgets were too high, and prices declined significantly for mobile games in terms of like the cost of entry for them. Like, nobody's paying $10 for a mobile game when they can pay $2 or play it free to play.
A lot of people are.
Shout out to Don Otaku. He says for $5, he says the executive used to work for EA Mobile and he was working for Facebook VR AR. That's not a good sign at all, in my opinion.
Oh my God.
No, it's mainly going to be. It's going to be in all stream. It's Netflix, so it's going to be straight streaming. And straight streaming is not something that's really going to take off for a very long time. It's an option, right? Like, for example, like what Microsoft is doing, right? They got xCloud or whatever. xCloud is not replacing with how you play your games, but it's just an addition, to like if you have your phones, somewhere and you want to play, a little game or whatever, and you want to stream or whatever, then you can play out xCloud. But the problem with these streaming services is, it's like, even though like a lot of people don't really care about like resolution or graphics or anything like that, a lot of people are gonna notice like whenever the internet is not working well enough, and all the input lag. Like David Jaffe had this debate with Hard 8 the other day, and I think Hard 8 brought a lot of good points, because for a streaming only future, like, that shit's not coming for long. Like, our internet,
I don't think it's gonna be that long.
What do you mean it's not gonna be that long? Listen, I'm telling you this right now. cloud gaming.
Let him
No,
finish.
cloud gaming cannot replace native gaming experiences.
Not
There's
replace.
there's a huge difference between the two. Even if you're gaming on your mobile phone versus like, oh, I'm gonna pop up Netflix on my phone and play something like that when I can play Genshin Impact on my cell phone natively. Like those are two different experiences that cannot be replicated with cloud gaming, and it's going to be a long time. It's like Chris said, it's not just the internet connection. Hey, yo, if my internet goes out of my house, I can still play on my PC. I can still play on my PS5 and my Xbox. Imagine there's a power outage, well, not even just a power outage, but like your ISP says, yo, we're going down for maintenance for X amount of hours. You're asked out if you're just playing on cloud gaming. You can't use Netflix, but you can still boot up your
I missed that
Xbox.
part when he said the main way of gaming. I missed
that's what I said. Like the
that's what I said.
as far as
It
being just
can't be.
streaming only. That's what I'm saying. Like streaming only, no other options. Yeah, that shit. That's why. But the Netflix thing is obviously just going to be that, just like Stadia, the streaming only. So I don't really seeing it take off. That's why I say like these other big companies, these other multi-billion-dollar companies or whatever, if they want to get into gaming, cool. But do it as a third-party publisher because that is their best bet.
That's the best bet. If they try to do their own native solutions, they're gonna be losing a lot of money because I'm telling you, what they're gonna do is they're gonna try to get like a really big like AAA or even like a AA experience on there where they're dumping like tens of millions, even hundreds of millions of dollars into a game that's not gonna pop off, and you're not gonna get the return on investment whatsoever, and it's gonna be a complete waste.
But no, here's what y'all saying, right? Okay, yeah. It's not going to pop off and be the main way of gaming, right? But to say it's going to fail because it's an option of the service, it's just an additional, just like xCloud. Remember, you paying a certain amount a month, and you giving them different ways, different forms of entertainment, and which one is gaming. Like that's the part y'all missing. You can't say it's just going to fail because of that.
No,
I literally
they will
said, like,
they will
I don't think
gradually
it's going to fail. That's why
they will gradually stop supporting it. It's the same thing like the movies and TV shows. They literally have movies and TV shows that came on there and flopped because no one was watching it, and they stopped making additional seasons or they never made another movie. It's going to be the same thing with the games. They're going to have a couple of games that they're going to make in-house, and they're gradually going to... No, yes, it does, because it's the same thing with gaming. You have budgets. You have a project that's being made. If the project doesn't succeed, we're going to cut it and we're going to scrap it. They've been doing this.
Oh, hold on. I don't understand what you're saying. You saying that some games going to fail and some going to make it? Or what are you saying?
No, I'm saying that overall, if this thing doesn't hit, they're going to scrap that shit.
And if it's streaming only, then it will fail.
You have
I'm
Amazon.
trying to understand.
All right, you have Amazon that's going to try to get into cloud gaming. Google tried it and they're failing. They're trying to survive. Xbox is doing it the right way, and PlayStation are doing it the right way because it's not the main option. Those are subsets of the experience of gaming that they're giving you, but it's not a requirement.
It's a difference with them companies that you're using and you're trying to make your point with. I understand your point, but Netflix main source of money is coming from streaming
movies.
All their consumers know that. This is different. Amazon money doesn't solely come from streaming movies and shows.
Yes,
that's not where their money come from. Correct?
Yes, I agree.
So how are you comparing these two?
Because you have to look at engagement. If they drop the service within Netflix, right? Yes, Netflix alone is going to sell.
It's not a service, though.
I'm telling, it's within the same umbrella. I understand what you're trying to tell me.
Right.
If they put the cloud gaming within the Netflix app and there's no engagement, but they're pumping money into making games for that subset of Netflix, you're burning money. How these games going to be made, Nick?
Without
the same way that movies get made.
Without saying
money.
They put money into them.
This is what you really have to look at. This is what I'll say is about Netflix entering new ground. Netflix is no stranger of canceling shit. Even if it has a positive outcome, like they'll drop a new series, a new show, or people that people get into it, and then the next week announce it's canceled. They won't do a whole nother season. I was like, so you guys invested all this money, you hired all these actors, you did a pilot season, and you're dead. They've done that.
Yeah, you burned the cash.
Week there's
I'm not
new article
that,
of how many shows or franchises that Netflix is canceling that they've created from the ground up. And if they get into gaming, not to say that, you know, like I obviously their main source, you know, people on Netflix know them through, you know, streaming, being everywhere. So it's just the fact that I don't know how that bodes. Like, we see fucking Google watch Microsoft buy Bethesda, and they're like, you know what, we shutting down all of our first party shit, and we're just gonna rely on third party games.
It's over.
Because we overpaid Ubisoft to put games on our service. Netflix, sure, they'll probably buy up some third party stuff and whatnot to get to launch their service. But when it comes to them like building up studios or building up a portfolio, if that shit doesn't fly immediately,
It's over.
I don't know how quick.
Yeah, whoa. That's where we got confused.
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna go out. They didn't do that for their movies. Since y'all use the movies and the shows as a point, they don't own none of those studios. They make contracts.
They have their
would
own.
do the
They
same-
have their own in-house studios though, which they make original content. Like, yes, they have additional.
No.
They have additional contracts with different movies, but there's Netflix originals. There's a section called
the
Netflix
originals. Okay, yeah, I got what you're saying.
And they come out with a lot of them too.
They don't own the studios that make the shows and the movies though. That's what I'm saying. Like,
they don't have the problem is
It's their own
those
studio.
those are projects that they've come into agreement with
Invested in.
long-term agreements that they've opted out of after one season. They canceled.
Yeah, and then some they did. More they did than they didn't. The probabilities. Let's not talk about the small percentage.
They got no. There's more canceled shows than there are more ongoing shows.
Yes, that's a
fact. Are you serious?
Yes,
yeah.
on Netflix.
Look it up. And
there's more canceled.
I'm telling you that this is something that can potentially happen
and
from the gaming side, because I'm telling you, if there's no engagement with the games that are being put on that service, just like the same thing happened with Stadia, there was no engagement.
They don't make shows and movies no more.
They're gonna scrap these games. They're gonna scrap these studios. As a developer, right? We have the evidence. I can give you articles about what happened with Stadia.
No. That's not what I'm saying.
What?
Hold up. Let me finish it. All right. So you're saying because a lot of shows and movies that they invested into were canceled, they stopped making movies and shows.
They didn't stop
making those particular movies and shows.
They didn't stop what they were doing. The problem is, all right, they were investing.
All right, go ahead.
They're filming and they're putting them out, and they'll put it out there regardless of how successful some of these shows are. Something's going on internally where they announce after that season's done, they're done. So it's not like they're not doing it. Yeah, they still got stuff in the works that still haven't come to light yet. But by the time we're finishing up the season, we're going to learn that it's canceled.
Right. You talking about shows that was canceled, but they're still doing them.
No.
What about Stadia?
They move on from one to the other.
Stadia is different. They don't you can't compare Stadia to Netflix. That's what I'm saying. I think Netflix got a better. All I'm saying is, I'm not saying it's going to work. Netflix got a better chance than Google. That's what I'm saying.
I agree.
Well, yeah, because they have this. They have this.
That's all I'm saying.
But you gotta understand that this Netflix gaming thing, right? If they do it, it's going to be streaming only, and streaming video games is way different. I don't care what anybody says. It's way different than streaming movies and streaming music, because you don't have to interact with those. You don't have to put input and shit like that, which can affect movies and music. It doesn't affect them at all. But for video games, it affected heavily. You're gonna come out with a streaming only service where not everybody's internet is up to par to run a 10, 20, 30, 40 hour video game with a lot of inputs and stuff like that. Like, I don't really see this taking, even if how big as Netflix is, I don't see this
they're gonna be limited to Telltale Games and Life is Strange.
I remember this episode, man.
Back to actual game. We're talking about Netflix getting into gaming.
This is important. This is important for the gaming industry, because if I'm a developer, right, why would I take the risk of developing a game for Netflix exclusively when I can drop a game in a proven service like a Game Pass. I would even put my game in PlayStation Now over Netflix.
What's going to happen?
There's a better chance of it hitting.
No, what's going to happen, Dope Boy, is exactly what Google is. Netflix is going to come with the bag, so people are going to jump on it because the bag is going to be too big to deny.
Yeah, for the first year.
What happens after that, it is what it is. As long as they get that bag, Assassin's Creed is going to be the first franchise to support this bullshit.
Platinum Games?
How are you going to...
Platinum Games going to take the bag and never pay shit?
Certain million people played it, and you're not going to be able to say it's a failure. As long as the numbers of people played it, engage with it, how are you gonna fight that?
They gotta find a way to make it profitable. They gotta find a way.
What I'm saying is, how will you know this?
The biggest struggle with gaming and streaming has been pricing. Nobody has found a way to get pricing right for, like Google said, the prices. You gotta buy a $60 game. You can buy an NBA 2K20
on top of
a stream. Yeah, it's like what? Like nobody has figured out pricing, and Netflix has to find a way to make it. It has to find a way. It's like, all right, obviously it's not going to be profitable in the first couple years, but at some point they got to find a way to make that profitable. How do you do that? No one has figured it out yet.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Xbox is the only, and I'm not going to say Xbox. I can't say it because I don't know. But the way Xbox has it is the fact that it's all a part of an existing subscription service.
It's an addition.
It's not.
It costs them nothing.
Yeah. So it costs them nothing. It actually costs them nothing, and it costs the user nothing to get merged into the streaming service.
And you have an existing library of games if you're an Xbox user, and any first-party game that comes out for Xbox that's already there is going to be in the service, but it's not your only option for playing. You can play it natively on your console. If it's on the PC, you can play on your PC. You're fine. With Netflix, it's only streaming. There's no other option for you to play it. And how do you think they're gonna have first-party games? There definitely are, right? We have to see if those games are gonna hit. The third-party games, assuming that they bring it, okay, that's cool. But your first-party output, the money that Netflix themselves are investing to make new games, we have to see if there's engagement with those games. If there is not, like I said before, as a developer, why would I take the risk of making a game for Netflix when I compare it on Game Pass or even PlayStation Now, and there's going to be more of a base of gamers that actually engage with that game, even though Netflix has a huge volume, is it going to be a lasting experience on that platform versus an Xbox or a PlayStation? I don't think so.
No,
we don't know the approach. We don't know the approach. And I think y'all need to pump y'all brakes a little bit. I think y'all saying,
hold on, but we do know their approach.
Fail, and they might come out.
We know
they might come out with the next. They might come out with the next like game that can work on cloud better, like something like Diablo, or, you know what I mean, like something that just
it's still gonna have to depend on users' internet.
Yeah.
All right, but let's we pushing 11 o'clock here, so we're gonna get
my bad.
We gonna get these outros out of the way. Shout out to Bland Drew for coming through last minute.
Yes, sir.
Even though he didn't say that, but that's one thing I wanted to say, Smooth, because before we leave, real quick, because the whole thing with the Switch OLED got announced, and you made a video because since the Switch OLED is $50 more than the standard Switch, $50. You made a video talking about how the Xbox, that it makes the Xbox Series, which I agree, right? It makes the Xbox Series S more valuable in that sense, as far as like what you're getting with its price or whatever. So I want to know how Bland you feels about that, about what you said, because he's the Switch guy.
Oh yeah,
that's true.
I don't necessarily think it's what he said was wrong. Me personally, I would never spend even a dime for a digital only platform, but yeah, I don't really see the problem in buying a Series S.
Yeah, I mean, you're buying a Switch OLED, right?
Of course, yes.
Why?
Because mainly it's about 50-50, but I am traditionally a handheld junkie. I love playing games in portable mode, and I do still have Generation 1 Switch, so my battery isn't exactly the best, and I have the original PS Vita, and I know what OLED games look like. The very first time I saw that was when I played Persona 4 Golden, and I was like, whoa, that looks amazing.
I don't know why
I want to experience that with my Switch. So
yeah, I don't know why Kiss Smooth asked you that when Kiss Smooth buys multiple Xbox consoles.
yeah,
All right, that's different. But the reason why I was asking why it's going for because there was no. All right, like so me buying multiple. All right, so the whole buying like
He don't know what to say.
Don't
He don't
count.
know.
Like I'm not like all right, no, all right. I can see if Xbox made another Series S right for $50 more that offered nothing different. Like,
Come on, bro.
More storage.
if they release some type of Xbox Series X with sparkles on it, you would have bought it. Stop.
They got you. It's okay. It's okay.
all right, you got me, whatever. But like majority of the time with Xboxes in terms of why I'm getting this Xbox over after this Xbox came out is because there was some sort of upgrade. Like when we went from Xbox One, the VCR, to the first Xbox One S, we got HDR, we got 4K upscaling, and we got a smaller box, and it looked prettier. So it was more enough of a reason.
Yeah.
And then obviously
And a 4K Blu-ray player.
and a
too.
4K Blu-ray player, yeah. So that was in. It was the same. It was cheaper. Oh shit! It was cheaper. And
Yeah,
then
you got to point that because I was gonna bring up the Switch has a bigger screen. It has OLED. It has, but the cheaper part, yeah.
yeah. For the Xbox One S actually launched, it was end up being a $400, a $300 and a $400. Yeah, how that worked. And then obviously the Xbox One X, there was a reason. There was a massive.
Yeah, it was a huge
there.
upgrade. Yeah, it was a huge upgrade.
Yeah, so yeah, that's the reason there. This dude got this Zelda Switch cartridge. Hey, have you tasted a Switch card? That was the first thing I did when
Yeah,
I got
it's
my
gross, bro.
I did. It was the
Oh,
very first thing I did when I got my Switch.
What?
Yeah.
Why did y'all do that?
I don't know.
To be honest with you, to be honest with the Switch, I think I might have said this last week, but when people talk about how Nintendo hasn't dropped the price on the Switch or anything like that, I think I said this last week that the reason why they don't, even though I don't agree with it, but I think the reason why they don't drop like the prices of their consoles, especially the Switch, is because the Switch is a unique hardware in itself, right? It's a hybrid hardware. There's no other. There's no other device that's doing what the Switch doing as far as like you go in the dock and then as far as how the capabilities of it, whatever. Like when it comes to like power and resolution, of course, is weak, right? Compared to compared to the Xbox One and stuff like that. But it's its own unique console in itself, and I think Nintendo likes to really like put their value up really high. So I think that's the reason why they don't go down in price. But what I would have hoped was that instead of coming out with this new Switch OLED and making it $350, they could have just completely replaced the current model of the Switch and made this the standard model and still keep it at $299 if they wanted it to. I think that probably would have been a better move, because then at that point it's like, what's the point of me buying the regular Switch for $299 when I could just get the OLED for the better version for $50? But go ahead, Blenju.
I think everything. Well, 2 points. One, I think as far as pricing is concerned, just slashing everything by $50 would have been a move that made more sense. Just have the handheld one be where it's at, 200, docked, 250, OLED, 300, boom, problem solved. And as far as the price is considered with Nintendo Switch, from a business perspective, even though, again, I may not agree with it, just like you said, there really is no reason for them to cut the price of this thing. This thing is still flying off the shelves. It's still dominating in Japan, doing its thing in Europe and killing it on the MPD. So from their perspective, they're just losing money for no reason. So
it's still selling like crazy. But I mean, as far as the minimum upgrade, I was very disappointed that it wasn't what I was expecting, like a Switch Pro with increased resolution, increased performance, and stuff like that. Because I think that will make these Switch games more enjoyable. Like, they're already great, right? I love the Switch games. They don't need to change the art style, whatever. But higher resolution for my 4K TV, at least upscaled in a higher frame rate, will just make these games like much more enjoyable, in my opinion. But at the same time, what I want them to come out with a more powerful Switch this year, because then they will have to still develop on the previous Switch. At this time, it's like whatever upgrade they decide doing, I just want to switch to at this point. Just come out with a whole new powerful next-gen hybrid console, right? Make it backwards compatible with the original Switch, where you can put Breath of the Wild, you can put, any Astral Chain or whatever, and it runs, or especially Xenoblade 2, because that game, I couldn't finish Xenoblade 2 because it gave me a headache with the resolution. You know what I mean? Like, it gave me a headache with the resolution, but I think, I definitely want a more power. They may come, like, some of the insiders that talked about the Switch OLED and stuff like that, they're still saying that Nintendo still has a more powerful Switch on the way, probably next year, but we'll see.
Yeah, just real quick, I don't see the reason why they would release a Pro this year. I mean, just look at their lineup. It's Mario Party, Advance Wars, Metroid Dread. It's a more handheld centric lineup compared to their more console stuff. So so maybe when you start getting Breath of the Wild 2 or Metroid Prime 4 is when they'll decide, all right, here's the new Switch.
I hope they launch a new Switch with Breath of the Wild 2. That would be great. And if it's like cross-gen, I wouldn't mind that. But, because they did that with they did that. There's been, how many Zeldas has been? There's been 2 or 3. No, there's been 2 Zelda games that have done that, right? Where they come out with, when they're about to come out with a new console, they make a cross-generation Zelda. They did that with Twilight Princess, and they did that with
Breath of the Wild.
With Breath of the Wild. So I don't know, man. Like, the Switch is strong, so I can see why Nintendo is like, yeah, we're just gonna ride this shit out as long as we can. Because even though, we might not have the most powerful system, we might not get as much third-party support as Sony or Microsoft, but we're still fucking killing it. Like, we're still fucking destroying the market when it comes to sales and shit like that. And it's still going strong and stronger than ever. Like, the sales are increasing year by year. So I can understand that, but I'm personally disappointed. But it's not. I just hope that whatever more powerful Switch, whether it be the same generation as the Switch, just like a Switch Pro or whatever, I just hope that comes out sooner than later, in my opinion.
Okay.
Right. Got one final super chat, and then we gotta get out of here. Don Otaku says, no one had complained about Game Boy Advance, SP, DS XL, 3DS XL, which were just external hardware changes.
Twitter wasn't around.
This is no different.
Yeah, they done this with their handhelds, where it's like they come out with with like a 3DS, and then a few years later they come out with a 3DS, the 3DS XL, which I think it was more expensive than the regular 3DS when it first came out. Blenju, I'm not sure. Was it
which 3DS?
The XL?
They got so many of them.
It probably was.
When the 3DS XL it came out higher, and it did. It came out higher price. Than the regular 3. And I think the 3DS XL was the one that didn't even include a wall charger.
Yeah.
No, that was new 3DS.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
there was 3DS XL and then new 3DS and then new 3DS
and then they
XL.
came out with a new 3DS, which was more powerful, and but it was still part of the 3DS family. But they had a few games that only ran on the new 3DS and couldn't run, which I thought was dumb. As I might as well make a whole new console if you're going to do that. Yeah. But when it comes to that handheld,
those games flop too.
Yeah, exactly. So. But when it comes to Nintendo's handheld, they do this all the fucking time. The thing is that since now it's hybrid, but it's a hybrid console, but you can definitely see that they still cater more to the handheld side, because all of these new revisions that we've been getting from the Switch have only catered to the handheld. They haven't made any revision where it caters to the dock user, other than putting a fucking Ethernet port finally for the first time. You know what I mean? But the Switch OLED only caters to the handheld. The Switch Switch Lite only caters to the handheld. Make a Switch that has a better dock that caters to the TV users. The TVs with the 4Ks where you can upscale. The games don't have to be native 4K or native 1440p, any of that. I don't care. But the upscale, I definitely want an upscale at least, so it can still give me that clean image.
Yeah.
All right. Quick outros, please.
Yeah, man. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Blandy for coming through. Shout out to everybody in the chat. See you, Koi. I see you, Bless Red. Shout out to Ole Man Logan, Kid Smooth, Dope J for the great discussions and debates. And check us out next week. And hopefully we got a lot of news to talk about. But I'm going to get ready for that Zelda on Friday, too.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me on the podcast. It's always nice to talk it up with you guys.
Anytime, Blandrew. Oh, man.
Oh, I don't got much. Shout out to everybody here on the panel that's here. Shout out to everybody in the chat with the likes and stuff. And just another beautiful week of gaming for us.
Dope boy.
Shout out to everyone in the podcast. Shout out to the chat. Make sure you guys drop a like, share everything. Make sure you guys go and look at the description. Check out everybody's YouTube channel and subscribe. And Blandrew, we're gonna be checking for that video pretty soon. All right.
I appreciate it, man. I really appreciate it. Oh, and congrats on the 10K.
Thank you.
NickBanks, man, where you at? You fall asleep?
Yo, nah, I'm here. Yo, shout out to the chat. My man Corey, Def Grips, you know, whatever.
That's the same person.
Blandrew, the OLED King, and everybody, you know. Yeah.
All right, man. No, I appreciate everybody coming through. Blandrew, once again, thank you for coming through last minute. Welcome to Welcome to Podcast. Happy to have you. And Koi, Bless. There's a couple other Donataki, everyone in Super Chat. Hit the like button, hit the share button. We will see you guys next week. As always, Xbox is the best box. I am the best bot. Good night or good morning if you're on the other side of the globe. I'm out of here. Peace.
Peace.